Chapter 1430, Stuck for 2 years. Lin Feng had a strange feeling after he entered the tree. He was in an empty space which looked like a castle. It looked like a strong cultivator's small world. However, that castle was burning, flames were everywhere. Kaboom, explosions sounded as a stone block fell down. Cosmic strength, there's cosmic strength everywhere. Besides, there are 3 different types of cosmic strength here, which means there must be 3 fate seeds, thought Lin Feng. Lin Feng found the skeleton even more mysterious now. Lin Feng had a familiar feeling inside there. Bzzz, the green light appeared. The stone blocks seemed like they had eyes, it felt like they were staring at Lin Feng. There's something wrong here. There aren't only 3 kinds of cosmic strength, there's fire, empty space, and earth cosmic strength, but there's life cosmic strength as well. That's what gives those dead things that alive feeling, thought Lin Feng. He could only see 2 fate seeds, but how could he get them? Go! Lin Feng unsheathed his Tianji sword and descended from the sky. Bzzz, however, as it descended, the fire became even more powerful. The stones came together and formed a gigantic stone man which collided with the Tianji sword. Boom, the Tianji sword chipped away a piece of stone. Flames dashed to the skies as the stone man seemed to have woken up. Boom, 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 the terrifying strength bombarded the Tianji sword, making it shake violently. Come back, shouted Lin Feng. Boom, boom boom, boom, the Tianji sword was already buried in the ground. Some more gigantic firemen appeared. Then they turned into burning mountains and buried everything beneath them as they sat down. Come out, shouted Lin Feng. He could sense that his Tianji sword was shaking violently, it was going insane. But it was useless, the burning stone men were too strong. Earth cosmic strength. Lin Feng looked upset. While Lin Feng was thinking about how to get back his Tianji sword, gigantic stone blocks appeared again and were staring at Lin Feng. Oh no! Lin Feng feared that the gigantic, burning stone men wanted to attack him. Bzzz, a burning stone flew towards him like a fireball. Break, shouted Lin Feng, furiously punching the fireball and making it explode. Lin Feng's arm was extremely sore after that. Those energies were terrifying and contained cosmic strength, so he couldn't afford to underestimate them. Bzzz. At the same time, it started to rain fire on Lin Feng. Oh no! Lin Feng suddenly rose up in the air and released sword chi. Lacerate, shouted Lin Feng furiously. The fire rain was even more beautiful as it broke apart into a myriad of burning stone men, which then threw themselves at Lin Feng. Lin Feng suddenly disappeared as he used his empty space robe, reappearing higher up in the air. Boom! Fireballs crashed where he had been a second before, leaving a gigantic crater. Getting those fate seeds seems to be too difficult, thought Lin Feng. He continued rising up in the air, but more fireballs launched towards him. Slash, empty space energies appeared above Lin Feng. He raised his head and saw an incredible empty space strength above him. He hadn't realized it before because the ceiling was too high. The empty space fate seed is above me. There were 4 fate seeds in that place, but they all seemed difficult to get to. Lin Feng used his deadly demon punch and explosions sounded. If he lost focus for even a second, he would die. The Firestone men seemed furious and continued attacking Lin Feng. Lin Feng punched one of them and moved like the wind before punching another one. Piss off! Lin Feng kept destroying the burning stones, but he felt overwhelmed. Lin Feng looked around looking for an exit, but found nothing. There was no exit and his Tianji sword was stuck in there. Boom! Lin Feng moved like the wind and dodged the next wave of attacks. He released wind and empty space energies to dodge all the attacks. Should I hide inside the Jade Emperor's palace and practice inside it, thought Lin Feng. Then, he thought, I should try to practice here first. If that doesn't work, I'll go inside the palace. Break. Lin Feng continued punching the stones, but there were still too many of them. Break, break, break. Lin Feng punched the stones one after the other as he continued running away. After 7 days, he was still dodging attacks. He felt like he was going to run out of demon chi, but he continued on. A month later, Lin Feng looked exhausted. He couldn't use demon energies anymore, so his deadly demon punches were useless. He persevered though and continued dodging the attacks. His empty space and wind energies were getting still stronger. I'll see what my real limits are, thought Lin Feng like a madman. 3 months later, it seemed like the fire and stones couldn't kill Lin Feng. He couldn't use demon energies, but the demon intent in his eyes seemed more stable. When he condensed demon intent, a strong wind surrounded him. The wind around him was becoming even stronger, then it turned into a tornado. The strength of the earth and sky turned into demon chi and flowed throughout Lin Feng's body. Boom! Lin Feng felt great as the demon chi flowed throughout his body. He thought he had never felt so great in his life. He continued absorbing demon strength from the strength of the earth and sky. Arg! A terrifying demon chi continued building in his body as he continued running around and releasing demon punches. However, as Lin Feng became stronger, the fire stones also became stronger. 3 months, then 6 months, then 1 year. Time passed quickly, but Lin Feng didn't give up. He wanted to leave, but he was stuck inside. He could only become stronger until he overcame the burning stones. More time passed and Lin Feng had been stuck inside for 2 years already. Chapter 1431, Come Out. Back in Tiantai, 2 beautiful women were gazing into the distance while sitting on the stairs. They looked particularly sad. 3 years and he still hadn't come back. Emperor, you hadn't come back either. Where were they? In the gigantic territory of Tiantai, all the disciples were still making great efforts to become stronger. During those 3 years, the Ba Huang province had changed a lot. Many new outstanding cultivators were rising, some people even talked about the new 10 strongest young cultivators of the new generation, because apart from a few of the 10 strongest young cultivators from the previous generation who had died, the others were already cultivators at the top of the Zun Qi layer. Several of them had disappeared for 3 years now, so if they came back, they would probably be monstrously strong. In the previous generation of monstrously strong geniuses, there was Lin Feng, sometimes called Mu Feng. He had killed many geniuses from Ba Huang. There was the great oriental greenfinch rock whose speed was unparalleled, the mysterious Buddhist monk, Kong Ming from the Celestial Thunder Temple, Wen Tiangu and Wen Ao Shui from the Wen clan, Si Kong Shao from who had a mysterious celestial vision, Fu Hei was the one nobody really knew how strong he was, Yi Ren Lei the seductive woman and so on. Now, new geniuses were rising in Ba Huang, for example Feng Ling from the Qi Feng mountain. It was said that she was even stronger than Feng Xian. Then there was Xia Yu from the Church of Desire. Xia Tianfan was a mysterious fighter who could fight against cultivators at the top of the Zun Qi layer. As of yet, he had never lost a battle. Qizong from the Qi clan was terrifying too. But the group in the Huang Sea didn't know about these things. During those 3 years, many of them had obtained fate seeds, but many of them had died. Amongst the 100 people who entered, only half were left. Inside the ancient tree, Lin Feng was still punching the burning stones over and over again. The burning stone men had become smaller, but their cosmic energies were stronger than when he first entered. Break! Shouted Lin Feng furiously. He punched the air again and another large burning stone broke apart. Lin Feng was breathing fast, but a fire strength was visible as he exhaled. 2 years, whispered Lin Feng. During those 2 years, he had destroyed many stones while consuming exorbitant amounts of qi, empty space qi, fire qi and earth qi. Even though he didn't study it, his earth abstruse energy was already level 4. As Lin Feng became stronger, he was finding it easier to learn new abstruse energies. It was similar to when he had the strength of the Tian Qi layer. As he became stronger, he understood intent faster too. Lin Feng was wondering, if someday, he broke through to the Huang Qi layer and became an emperor, while studying cosmic energies, would he start from level 1 abstruse energies or higher? Besides, after understanding level 9 abstruse energies, would he immediately understand cosmic energies? I haven't drunk or eaten anything in 2 years, all I've absorbed was empty space, fire, earth and life qi. No wonder I learnt earth abstruse energy during this time. That must be a special power that only I have though, whispered Lin Feng. After leaving, I'll definitely need to take a shower, thought Lin Feng. Even though practicing cultivation allowed cultivators to remain healthy, Lin Feng didn't appreciate greasy, dirty hair. Lin Feng's facial expression became sharp when he thought about the outside world. He looked around, thinking about leaving again. Bzzz. As if a stone sensed that Lin Feng was feeling unhappy, it threw itself towards him. However, Lin Feng didn't try to break it, he instead turned into an illusion. And not just one illusion, there were many Lin Feng illusions in the room. During those 2 years, Lin Feng's empty space and wind abstruse energies had become incredibly powerful. They were now both at the top of the 6th level while his demon abstruse energy was at the top of the 7th level and his life abstruse energy level 5. He had also broken through to the 6th Zun Qi layer recently. He pierced through the ceiling stones and started digging a tunnel. Die! Shouted Lin Feng furiously. His body was as sharp as a sword as he made his way through the earth. Boom! Gigantic burning stone men appeared which were several dozens of meters tall. Then, they immediately threw themselves at Lin Feng. Slash, slash, Lin Feng joined together his hands and released sword energies. Then a gigantic sword appeared which was 100 meters long. There were no explosions as it fell, it simply cut the gigantic stone men to pieces. There were 2 lights which were becoming more and more dazzling the farther Lin Feng dug, those were fate seeds. Boom boom boom, the earth shook, and a gigantic stone man appeared again. If I don't break it, how long will I have to wait for this chance again, thought Lin Feng. He turned into 10,000 illusions and his sword lights became overwhelming. Then, they pierced through the ocean of fire. Everything was filled with sword lights, and they weren't disappearing because they contained immortal abstruse energy. In 2 years, Lin Feng had improved a lot in terms of demon, sword and agility cultivation. Now, he always made his sword energy fuse together with immortal abstruse energy, which was level 5 now. Boom! The ground exploded as Lin Feng dived into the fire, turning himself into a sword. Lacerate! Lin Feng released more sword energy. The stones lost their energy, the flames weren't as strong, and the stones weren't as hard anymore. Lin Feng had taken the fate seed. I did it, thought Lin Feng. He had failed many times during the past 2 years, but now, finally, he had taken it. It meant that he could now resist the cosmic energies. Why can't I find the life fate seed, thought Lin Feng, slowly rising up again. The scenery was spectacular, and his Tian Ji sword was whistling beside him. Lin Feng frowned, there was definitely a fate seed containing life cosmic energy, but he couldn't see it. It was probably up in the ceiling with the other seed. I need to take it, and with the empty space fate seed, that'd be 5 seeds in total, thought Lin Feng. After that, he continued digging into the ceiling. What a powerful strength, thought Lin Feng. He suddenly sensed a pain spread throughout his body. Crack marks even appeared in his armor, but now he was strong enough that he didn't need such an armor. His physical body was stronger than his armor. Lacerate, shouted Lin Feng. He moved like the wind and finally managed to grab a dazzling golden fate seed. Directly after, buzzing sounds appeared and Lin Feng realized that he had left the place. He was back in the battlefield. I'm out, thought Lin Feng. He was so happy and surprised. He was finally out, after 2 years. Chapter 1432, Displaying One's Talent. After Lin Feng came out, green lights were shining upon his body. Fate Seed. Lin Feng stared at the tree. Initially, it contained the life fate seed, but it had appeared with the others. Did he want to help me? Thought Lin Feng, recalling the skeleton. Although he had been stuck in there for a long time, maybe the skeleton had taken him there to help him become stronger. But if the skeleton had taken him there, it also meant that he understood Lin Feng quite well. There were 4 types of cosmic energies there, so he must have known that Lin Feng knew so many different types of energies. Lin Feng rose up in the air and grabbed the fate seed from the tree, then the green lights faded. Lin Feng put on another robe and slowly rose up in the air. He had been there for 3 years already. When would it be possible to leave that place? For Lin Feng, 3 years was a long time. He had been in the cultivation world for 10 years already. When he had first arrived in that world, he was young and weak, and now 10 years later, he was considered as an amazing cultivator inside of the Ba Huang province. Bzzz. In the distance, some silhouettes started approaching. In the middle of them, Lin Feng noticed a beautiful woman, Yi Ren Lei. Apart from her, there were several of her fellow disciples. They had all broken through to the 8th Zun Qi layer. Even though they weren't as beautiful as Yi Ren Lei, they were still drop-dead gorgeous. During those 3 years, Yi Ren Lei hadn't wasted any time either. She had also broken through to the 6th Zun Qi layer. Yi Ren Lei was surprised to see Lin Feng, but then she smiled in a bewitching way. Then she recalled back when they used to make love. He's also broken through to the 6th Zun Qi layer, thought Yi Ren Lei. Lin Feng's cultivation level used to be quite low in the Ba Huang province, but he still stood out. Now that he had broken through to the 6th Zun Qi layer, how strong could he be? Prince Lin, said a girl next to Yi Ren Lei who was smiling thinly at Lin Feng. She was also trying to seduce him. What was that green light? Was it a fate seed? Indeed, said Lin Feng smiling. Some other people came over and looked at Lin Feng. Sisters, since Prince Lin already took it, let's go, said Yi Ren Lei smiling thinly. Even though those 2 girls wanted to attack, they still nodded. Last time they had seen Lin Feng, it was at the meeting of the emperors and he had only broken through to the 3rd Zun Qi layer then. Now that he had broken through to the 6th Zun Qi layer, he was probably stronger than them at the 8th. Besides, Lin Feng had been nice to the Heavens of Desire's palace, so they didn't want to offend him. Celestial girl Yi Ren, have you found any fate seeds? Asked Lin Feng. He felt weird talking like that, like he was being too formal. We need one more, said a girl next to Yi Ren Lei. If you were to agree, we could exchange something for one of your fate seeds. I'll give one to Yi Ren, what do you think? Asked Lin Feng smiling. The 2 girls next to Yi Ren Lei suddenly released a terrifying qi, as if Lin Feng was threatening them. It's all right, said Yi Ren Lei, preventing them from going any further. Yi Ren. Lin Feng took out a life fate seed and gave it to Yi Ren Lei. It contained thick and rich life energies. Yi Ren Lei's 2 fellow disciples looked at Lin Feng in a strange way. Why was that guy giving their fellow disciple a fate seed? Thank you, Prince Lin, said Yi Ren Lei. She took the fate seed, but Lin Feng grabbed her hand, forcing her to look at him. Even though all you care about is cultivation, don't forget about love, said Lin Feng, smiling before releasing her hand. Yi Ren Lei's 2 fellow disciples looked at her and then back to Lin Feng. Was Lin Feng interested in Yi Ren Lei? Since you give our fellow disciple a fate seed, it must mean that you have more. You should give us some too, said 3 other people. Princes from the Ice and Snow Empire, said Yi Ren Lei to Lin Feng using telepathy. I still have a lot, but if you want them, you'll have to come and take them from me, said Lin Feng, rising up in the air and smiling indifferently. Those 3 people smiled coldly, a lot. Die, shouted one of them. Those people hadn't been to the shrine back when Lin Feng was in the Ice and Snow Empire because they were already cultivators at the top of the Zun Qi layer. 2 of them were cultivators of the 8th Zun Qi layer and one of them of the 9th Zun Qi layer. The one who threw himself at Lin Feng was one of the cultivators who had broken through to the 8th Zun Qi layer. A cultivator of the 6th Zun Qi layer dares face me, you must like to act recklessly, said that cultivator. A strong wind started blowing and it was ice cold, piercingly cold even. Lin Feng's clothes were fluttering in the wind as the ice energies around him fell apart. Lin Feng released demonic qi and his eyes became pitch black. He smiled and moved with the wind. He no longer feared cultivators of the 8th Zun Qi layer. Be careful, that cultivator is not weak, shouted the cultivator of the 9th Zun Qi layer. Lin Feng's qi was powerful, more so than he was expecting. Die, the prince of the ice and snow empire moved faster and raised his fist. The air around him turned to ice. Lin Feng released a deadly demon punch and it streaked across the sky, seemingly unstoppable. Boom! The cultivator of the 8th Zun Qi layer continued moving forwards, but his mouth twitched. He lowered his head and saw a fist inside his ribs. Then he was propelled very far away. Grr, the others were furious. A cultivator of the 8th Zun Qi layer had been defeated in one punch. It seems like the strength of the 6th Zun Qi layer is enough to kill you, said Lin Feng indifferently. The others were surprised. Lin Feng punched again and this time the cultivator's head exploded. Lin Feng's deadly demon punch now contained level 7 death abstruse energy, level 7 demon abstruse energy, desolate abstruse energy and the force of the earth and sky. From 10 meters away, his attack was deadly. Chapter 1433, I want to kill a few people, die, shouted the two other princes from the Ice and Snow Empire. Don't get close to him. Let me take care of this, said the cultivator of the 9th Zun Qi layer, throwing himself at Lin Feng. He was still 100 meters away from Lin Feng as he threw out a punch. Bzzz. Lin Feng's silhouette flickered as he used his Xiaoyao agility technique. In a flash, he reappeared in dozens of different places, all of these illusions threw deadly demon punches at that cultivator of the 9th Zun Qi layer. Condense, shouted that cultivator. His punches blocked a few of Lin Feng's deadly demon punches. His abstruse energy was level 9, which was enough to freeze Lin Feng's deadly demon punches solid. Boom, boom, boom. Lin Feng kept running around, but all his punches turned to ice. If it wasn't a life-and-death battle, it would have looked like a nice show. Die! The cultivator of the 9th Zun Qi layer landed on the ground and ice spread out in all directions. Even the earth and sky seemed like they were going to freeze over. Humph. Lin Feng smiled coldly and ignored his showy attack. Instead, he threw himself at the other prince. His pitch-black eyes contained a terrifying death qi, easily giving that cultivator the impression that he was going to die. Be careful, shouted the cultivator of the 9th Zun Qi layer. He knew how strong Lin Feng was. The cultivator of the 8th Zun Qi layer released terrifyingly cold energies as he invoked his blooded strength, his spirit, and a territory. But Lin Feng was still smiling coldly with those pitch-black eyes damaging his determination. You can't defeat me. Lin Feng's voice resonated in his brain. For him, it seemed natural that he couldn't kill Lin Feng. One word is enough for me to kill you, said Lin Feng. He was nearing him while releasing demon curse energies. The cultivator didn't even try to protect himself. Die, shouted Lin Feng. No, shouted the cultivator suddenly, but it was already too late. Lin Feng attacked with a deadly demon punch, explode that guy's head. Die, shouted Lin Feng furiously. The earth and sky around the remaining ice cultivator froze, but Lin Feng disappeared. The enemy's punch landed where Lin Feng was just standing. The cultivator of the 9th Zun Qi layer released his spirit, a map of an ice world. Then an ice world appeared, resembling his spirit. In the world of cultivation, the higher a cultivator's cultivation level was, the stronger and the faster he was. That was logical, but abstruse energies allowed cultivators to overcome those principles. That cultivator of the 9th 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 Lin Feng had only broken through to the 6th Zun Qi layer, but his wind abstruse energy was level 6, coupled with his Xiaoyao agility technique, he was extremely fast, faster than a cultivator of the 9th Zun Qi layer at least. Therefore, the cultivator of the 9th Zun Qi layer couldn't keep up with Lin Feng. "If you escape, I'll kill them then," said the prince, throwing himself at Yi Renlei and the girls. Lin Feng had given her a fate seed, so he was going to kill her and take it. "Escape? You think too highly of yourself," said Lin Feng. A demon illusion appeared behind him and demon intent gushed out from it. Then, 2 swords appeared in his hands. Lin Feng only feared cultivators who were one step away from becoming emperors and cultivators who had imperial weapons. That prince didn't have an imperial weapon. "You want to fight a cultivator of the 9th Zun Qi layer," whispered Yi Renlei's fellow disciples, obviously surprised. When Lin Feng had only broken through to the 3rd Zun Qi layer, he already fought cultivators at the top of the Zun Qi layer. Now that he had broken through to the 6th Zun Qi layer, he wanted to fight against a cultivator of the 9th Zun Qi layer. Yi Renlei smiled in a resplendent way. When he had only broken through to the 2nd Zun Qi layer, he already fought against cultivators at the top of the Zun Qi layer. Apart from Yi Renlei, there were other people around who were watching. The cultivator of the 9th Zun Qi layer looked at Lin Feng, he seemed surprised. Lin Feng's swords contained death qi, amongst the other energies he was still condensing inside, including the force of the earth and sky. "Ice scroll, lacerate," shouted the cultivator of the 9th Zun Qi layer furiously. His spirit shook and an icy lake moved towards Lin Feng. "Back," shouted the crowd around them. That picture scroll would freeze everything in its way. Slash, Lin Feng released the sword he was holding in his left hand. A light lacerated the sky and pierced through the picture scroll, then it continued moving forwards. "Die," shouted the prince while releasing another ice attack. Slash, slash, Lin Feng released his other sword and cut the ice attack into 2. He had condensed immortal energy in those swords, so they didn't break easily. Bzzz. The prince shivered and rose up in the air. He summoned his spirit again and this time an iceberg crashed down. "Die." Lin Feng's Tianji sword moved towards the prince this time. "Death," shouted Lin Feng furiously. Death curse energies appeared and Lin Feng disappeared, reappearing higher up in the air. At the same time, he also released deadly demon punch attacks. The cultivator of the 9th Zun Qi layer pulled a long face. He also punched the air ahead of him to block Lin Feng's punch. However, Lin Feng's eyes turned pitch black at that moment, momentarily influencing his determination. "That sword." Lin Feng condensed abstruse energies in his hands, demon, death, fire, desolate and destructive abstruse energies. His attack looked perfect compared to before. "Lacerate," said Lin Feng. He disappeared again as a deadly light descended from the sky. That light contained black threads. The prince looked petrified, he didn't move, or rather, he couldn't move. Then, a black thread got caught in his third eye. Some crackling sounded and his body was vertically cut in 2. Lin Feng was standing in the sky and he looked proud, calm and serene. He had just killed a cultivator of the 9th Zun Qi layer with one sword attack. He killed him, thought the crowd. Lin Feng could now kill cultivators at the top of the Zun Qi layer. There probably weren't many people who could compete with him in Bahuang. How strong, the mouths of Yi Renlei's fellow disciples twitched. Lin Feng hadn't only defeated his opponents, he killed them. There was a huge smile on Yi Renlei's face. "Piss off now," said Lin Feng, glancing at those who came to take his fate seeds. They immediately left. After they left, Lin Feng smiled as 2 fate seeds appeared in his hands. One could see the fate seeds from very far away in the distance. "What are you doing?" asked Yi Ren's 2 fellow disciples. "Prince Lin, what are you doing?" said Yi Renlei smiling. Was he showing his fate seeds to other people? "I want to find some people to kill." "They'll come if they see the fate seeds," said Lin Feng smiling back Yi Renlei. How cruel, thought Yi Renlei's fellow disciples, they were covered in a cold sweat just thinking about it. Chapter 1434, To wait idly for opportunities, sisters, let's get farther away, said Yi Renlei to her fellow disciples who nodded back to her. Lin Feng's sword and death energies could kill them if they stayed too close. Sister, Lin Feng likes you. Maybe you should make love with him, it'd help your desire cultivation, said one of Yi Renlei's fellow disciples smiling. Yi Renlei nodded and replied, I'll think about it. Her fellow disciple looked at her in a strange way and smiled, it seems like you like him too. Yi Renlei smiled and said nothing. The two dazzling lights became even more dazzling. One of them contained earth cosmic energy and held a golden color. In Lin Feng's other hand, there was a fate seed which contained nature cosmic energy and exuded green lights. Those lights should definitely attract people's attention, thought Yi Renlei. As expected, people rushed over, looking at Lin Feng in a greedy way. They wanted the fate seeds, however, the one who had taken out the fate seeds was Lin Feng and he had broken through to the 6th Zun Qi layer now. Lin Feng stood in the air and said coldly, you have nothing to do here, just leave. The crowd was surprised. One of them, a cultivator of the 8th Zun Qi layer from the Magic World Heavenly Palace said, Lin Feng, did you take out those fate seeds just to attract everyone over? Do you want to trade them? If you do, what do you want in exchange? Piss off, said Lin Feng in a sharp way. He's so dumb, who would want to exchange fate seeds, whispered one of Yi Renlei's fellow disciples. Yi Renlei giggled. She had asked Lin Feng the same thing only a short while before. Even if some people really wanted to exchange fate seeds, apart from imperial weapons, what could they exchange for them? Bzzz. After some time, Lin Feng sensed a fist getting close to him from behind. It was a cultivator of the 8th Zun Qi layer from Jiuyu. A cultivator of the 6th Zun Qi layer had taken out fate seeds, so he had to die. Lin Feng shook his hand and his Tianji sword lacerated the sky. At the same time, Lin Feng turned around and flew back, creating a sonic boom as they went. How reckless, said Lin Feng. His voice turned into demon curse strength and he stared into his opponent's eyes. Earthen armor, shouted that cultivator. A mud armor appeared around him and it seemed rather dense. Life drain, said Lin Feng. Then his opponent's eyes turned gray as his vitality was being drained quickly. Boom, boom, terrifying threads of qi suddenly surrounded Lin Feng as 3 more strong cultivators attacked him at the same time. Even though Lin Feng was strong, people couldn't help themselves from attacking him for he had 2 fate seeds. If they obtained more fate seeds, they could exchange them for other fate seeds which were more suitable for their cultivation type. That way, after reaching the top of the Zun Qi layer, if they didn't understand their favorite type of energy, they would be able to borrow the cosmic strength from the fate seed. It was said that with the appropriate fate seed, a cultivator's chances of becoming stronger were multiplied by 3. It meant that with such a fate seed, they were more likely to become emperors. In the Ba Huang province, opportunities to become emperors were too rare. And cultivators only had 1 chance every 100 years to get those fate seeds, during the meeting of the emperors. Die, said Lin Feng, putting the fate seed he had in his right hand into his left hand, then he released death strength and his Tianji sword beheaded him. At the same time, Lin Feng condensed a sword in his right hand and jumped forwards with uncanny speed. Dazzling lights and blood mixed in the air as someone else died, he didn't even have time to shout. How fast, thought the 2 others. Wind and empty space abstruse energies, when mixed together, amplified speed to an astounding degree. Lin Feng's wind and empty space abstruse energies were each level 6. Lin Feng moved even faster, creating several illusions. The 2 enemies looked at them and couldn't tell which one was the real Lin Feng. Slash, blood splashed. Another cultivator was killed, and even after dying he looked desperate. How had he been hit? He hadn't sensed anything. The other one looked hopeless too. An illusion moved towards him, and he attacked it, but then energies attacked him from behind and he died. Cultivators of the 8th Zun Qi layer are now too weak for Lin Feng, thought Yiren Lei. They couldn't withstand a single attack against Lin Feng. What the hell are you still doing here? Said Lin Feng to the others. They came back to their senses and left quickly. They knew they couldn't take his fate seeds. A moment before, when Lin Feng's illusions had appeared everywhere, he had actually used his shadow spirit to attack. After his spirit had been cleansed by the gate in Tiantai, his speed and spirit had become terrifying. He could release clones of himself and attack enemies, unknowingly, from behind. Still not here. Lin Feng was waiting calmly. That way, he would continue to attract many people's attention. Bzzz. An animal appeared in the distance. He was moving extremely fast, like he was being carried by the wind. It was a bird of the 7th Zun Qi layer. Lin Feng suddenly disappeared from where he was and threw himself at the bird while condensing death qi in his eyes. He also took out his scepter. Death curse. Boom, the bird hadn't even arrived yet, but death and cursing energy surrounded his body. Then his dazzling golden body turned gray and dull. We'll see how hard your golden body is now. Lin Feng's scepter disappeared and a sword containing death qi descended from the sky. As expected, the sword encountered some resistance, but it still pierced through like a knife cutting butter. He took the bird and stowed it away. The body of a bird of the 7th Zun Qi layer was even more valuable than a holy weapon. Lin Feng had successfully cut through him, which meant that his sword could now lacerate medium-level holy weapons. After killing the bird, Lin Feng continued attracting people with fate seeds. He had only killed one bird so far, that still wasn't enough. Chapter 1435, Fighting Against the Great Rock and the Princes. What's going on? Thought some people who were in the distance. They had seen lights diffusing cosmic energies farther away from them. If someone had stolen some fate seeds, they usually put them away to prevent wandering eyes. A golden great oriental greenfinch rock glanced at a group of cultivators, Tian Qi, Mu Bei, and Li Hen. Tiantai's 10 other disciples had divided into 3 groups to protect each other in case of danger. But at that moment, they looked exhausted, especially Mu Bei, who was soaked in blood. He had almost been killed by his opponent's wings. Those 3 had become stronger during those 3 years. Tian Qi now had the strength at the top of the 7th Zun Qi layer, while Mu Bei and Li Hen had broken through to the 6th Zun Qi layer. Even so, the Great Oriental Greenfinch Rock was making things difficult for them. The Great Oriental Greenfinch Rock had also broken through to the 6th Zun Qi layer and had a Taoist robe made of feathers plus an imperial weapon. He was astonishingly fast and could cut through almost anything. "I'll kill you later," said the Great Oriental Greenfinch Rock before he suddenly left. He had seen lights in the distance, so he wanted to claim those fate seeds for himself. Bastard! Mu Bei invoked his blood strength to start recovering his wounds. That bird has an imperial weapon, and with his speed, I would have died if we hadn't been together. Tian Qi's golden energies slowly dispersed. He was upset as well. That imperial weapon was almost like cheating. He gazed into the distance and saw lights. If fate seeds hadn't appeared in the distance, the situation would have been dangerous for them. "Brothers, should we go as well?" asked Li Hen. "We already have 3 fate seeds, that's enough. We don't need to worry about our other disciples either, so Mu Bei should recover." "Let's find a calm place," reasoned Tian Qi calmly. Mu Bei's injuries were severe, so severe that his blood wasn't going to be enough to completely recover. "All right." Li Hen nodded. At that moment, the 4 princes from Tianlong Divine Castle were still safe and sound. They hadn't separated once in those 3 years. They had imperial weapons to protect them, and in that time, they had become even stronger. The weakest one was the 6th prince, who had broken through to the 7th Zun Qi layer now. The 4th prince had the strength at the top of the 7th Zun Qi layer, and the 2nd prince was at the top of the 8th Zun Qi layer. The crown prince had the strength of the 9th Zun Qi layer. Let's hurry up, they haven't disappeared yet, said the Crown Prince of Tianlong when he saw the two lights in the distance. The Great Oriental Greenfinch Rock and the princes of Tianlong Divine Castle weren't the only ones, many others were rushing over. Lin Feng was still there waiting, glancing around at the dozen people who had appeared. Lin Feng, shouted someone furiously. It was the Great Oriental Greenfinch Rock. He really wanted to kill Lin Feng, but Lin Feng had been hiding until now. Sixth Zun Qi Layer, let's see how powerful your cursing strength has become, said the great rock while flapping his wings. He then rose up in the air and released dazzling golden lights. If Lin Feng's cursing strength hadn't improved, then this time, he'd definitely die. Caw, the Great Oriental Greenfinch Rock cawed as he jettisoned ahead. However, at that moment, Lin Feng put away his fate seeds and rose up in the air, taking out his scepter and throwing himself at him. Death curse, die, shouted Lin Feng furiously. Terrifying cursing strength moved towards the Great Oriental Greenfinch Rock and surrounded him. Die, shouted the Great Oriental Greenfinch Rock. They were both extremely fast. If his wings reached Lin Feng, they'd slice him in two. The Great Oriental Greenfinch Rock was stopped as that terrifying death chi surrounded him. He raised his head and saw Lin Feng towering above him. Quickly, the gigantic body of the Great Oriental Greenfinch Rock started turning gray. He turned around and flew downwards while sending his imperial weapon to attack Lin Feng. Die! Lin Feng's scepter turned into a gigantic, ancient tree which struck the bird's back. Lin Feng was only using his death-cursing energies because the bird's natural defenses were too great. Finally, the bird stopped attacking as his body was completely gray. Rumbling sounds and quaking arose as his gigantic body crashed onto the ground, leaving a gigantic crater. Lin Feng released more cursing energies, but the imperial weapon blocked it. Lin Feng was pissed off now. How could he kill that damned bird? How insane, thought the crowd. They shivered after they saw Lin Feng's attacks. Lin Feng had almost managed to curse the Great Oriental Greenfinch Rock. Lin Feng was holding his scepter in his left hand and a gigantic axe in his right. Lin Feng descended from the sky and his axe crashed into the Great Oriental Greenfinch Rock. More rumbling sounds ensued as the Great Oriental Greenfinch Rock was propelled even deeper into the ground. Even though he's using an imperial weapon to protect himself, he's definitely injured, thought the crowd. What a hard shell, thought Lin Feng, annoyed. It's you, shouted someone in the sky. It was Tianlong Divine Castle's princes. The Crown Prince immediately attacked, throwing himself at Lin Feng while releasing a terrifying strength. I've been waiting for you for a long time, said Lin Feng. He released terrifying amounts of demon energies and flew using wind and empty space energies. Boom! The Crown Prince crashed onto the great rock, making the bird cough up golden blood. He was still recovering because Lin Feng's chi had lost him half of his life. If he didn't have this distraction, Lin Feng would have killed him for sure. 6. Be careful, shouted the Crown Prince who was also the fastest of the princes. He saw Lin Feng flying behind the sixth prince. Lin Feng had broken through to the sixth Zun Qi layer, so the sixth prince couldn't compete with him. The sixth prince knew that Lin Feng was extremely strong, but he still punched the air in his direction. Die! Lin Feng gazed at the sixth prince with his demonic eyes, then death-cursing strength invaded through the sixth prince's eyes. At the same time, Lin Feng appeared in front of him while releasing sword energies. Blood splattered as Lin Feng cut the sixth prince in two. Chapter 1436, Arrogantly Proud, 6, shouted the Crown Prince as he watched Lin Feng cut him in two. The other princes were furious, their eyes were bloodshot. The sixth prince was dead, so now Lin Feng had killed 6 of them. The crowd around them was astonished at how terrifying Lin Feng was. After killing the sixth prince, a demon appeared behind Lin Feng. He looked like a demon king. Lin Feng was still holding his scepter in his left hand and a sword in his other. Any cultivator of the 7th Zun-Chi layer or below can't kill Lin Feng if they don't possess an imperial weapon, thought the crowd. Lin Feng's death-cursing energies were terrifying. Maybe only Buddhist cultivators could deal with Lin Feng's cursing energies. The remaining princes threw themselves at Lin Feng. The crown prince shouted furiously, "Move back." Lin Feng had killed the 6th prince, so the 4th prince couldn't compete with Lin Feng either. The 4th prince was startled. On the battle stage during the meeting of the emperors, he could still deal with Lin Feng, but now he couldn't. Even his brother was telling him to run away. However, Lin Feng wasn't going to let him off. He threw himself at the 4th prince using wind and empty space energies. His shadows appeared everywhere, so no one could see who the real Lin Feng was. Arg! The crown prince was furious. Dragon started roaring as he took out a scepter. It was their imperial weapon, Tianlong's scepter. Lin Feng's shadows were destroyed, but the real one remained. The crown prince's heart was pounding. He suddenly turned around and saw that 1,000 meters away from the 4th prince, there was a dazzling light. Run! Shouted the crown prince. The 4th prince had already sensed the energies behind him though. His hair rose on end and his face turned deathly pale. He wanted to escape, but he couldn't move because he was petrified. Die! The 4th prince suddenly turned around and his arms grew dragon scales. Slash! Lin Feng's sword cut his body in two. The 4th prince's body fell from the sky as Lin Feng quickly took his ring. The crown prince's imperial weapon now aimed at Lin Feng while emitting whistling sounds. Lin Feng took a step back and then reappeared 10,000 meters away. He released demon chi and looked down at the crown prince in a cold way, an imperial weapon again. Besides, the 2nd prince also had a precious treasure, a sacrificial dragon altar. Last time, Tianlong Divine Castle had used it against him too. The scepter and the sacrificial altar together were a terrifying combination. The 2nd prince was even stronger now, and so was the crown prince. The crown prince chased Lin Feng, but Lin Feng didn't face him directly. Lin Feng's silhouette flickered as he ran around. The crown prince was incredibly strong, but a lot slower than Lin Feng. The Great Rock had incredible speed, offense and defense, but his cultivation level wasn't high enough. Many shadows of Lin Feng's appeared in the sky. The crowd which had surrounded them now consisted of more than 20 people. Bzzz. A light suddenly shot towards Lin Feng. It was the Great Rock, his wings were wide open and he was flying as fast as he could. Curse! Shouted Lin Feng, releasing cursing strength. At the same time, he moved away. The Great Oriental Greenfinch Rock crashed where Lin Feng was previously standing, but now he was cursed even more from Lin Feng's energies. He glared at Lin Feng and said coldly, "I will definitely kill you. You're a little, stinky, ignorant bird." "Just piss off," said Lin Feng. The bird was indeed ignorant, how could he kill Lin Feng? Lin Feng was humiliating the Great Oriental Greenfinch Rock once again. Caw! The Great Oriental Greenfinch Rock shouted furiously and continued chasing Lin Feng. But, Lin Feng disappeared as he reached the crowd. "Blood sacrifice," shouted the 2nd prince furiously. The sacrificial dragon altar rose up in the air. Lin Feng glanced at the 2nd prince in a cold way. How ridiculous, was the altar even useful at that moment? Lin Feng laughed and ran away with incredible speed. The 2nd prince and the crown prince watched Lin Feng leave. They were upset, but they couldn't catch up with him. 4 and 6 were killed, thought the princes, they weren't able to calm down. Only 2 of them remained until Lin Feng had killed all the princes of Tianlong Divine Castle. In the distance, dazzling lights once again illuminated the sky, a yellow and a green light. The crowd was speechless. Lin Feng had almost killed the Great Oriental Greenfinch Rock and he still wasn't satisfied. He still wanted to kill people. Those who knew Lin Feng knew that he probably wanted to attract cultivators from the Sikong clan and people under the East Emperor. Maybe he would get their fate seeds as well. As expected, Some people who came with the East Emperor were attracted by the lights. But Lin Feng instantly killed all them who didn't have imperial weapons. Chapter 1437, Emperor Tianlong is furious. Lin Feng. Ho Qinglin looked at Lin Feng in a strange way. What was Lin Feng doing with fate seeds in his hands? Wasn't he afraid of others attacking him? Brother, said Lin Feng smiling. Ho Qinglin was with Mo Qing Tian and Xing Zhan. They were all safe and sound. Ho Qinglin had already broken through to the 9th Zun Qi layer and he had an imperial weapon. With him around, nothing could happen to Mo Qing Tian and Xing Zhan. They had been there for 3 years already. In that time, Ho Qinglin had broken through to the 9th Zun Qi layer, Mo Qing Tian to the 7th and Xing Zhan to the 6th. Lin Feng, what are you doing? Asked Xing Zhan, glancing at the fate seeds. I'm trying to attract people, it's too difficult to find people to kill, said Lin Feng, raising his fate seeds above his head. He made it sound like this was a natural thing to do. Ho Qinglin inspected Lin Feng's cultivation level and smiled, 3 years and you've already broken through to the 6th Zun Qi layer, not bad. Not many people can compete with you in here anymore. Lin Feng laughed and asked, brothers, how are the others? Tian Qi is with Li Hen and Mu Bei, Rua Xia is with Ban Rua, Wu Yong and Ku Kan. They should be fine, replied Ho Qinglin. I hope they're doing well, said Lin Feng, smiling. Bzzz. The sky shook, making Lin Feng, Ho Qinglin and the others turned around to gaze into the distance. They saw a strange light there. It's the exit, thought Lin Feng. That was the direction where they had first arrived. It's over, that's the exit. We can finally leave, whispered Ho Qinglin. 3 years, and now the messenger had opened the seal again. After the opening of the seal, they had 1 day to leave. If they didn't leave in that time, nobody knew what would happen to them. Maybe a destructive strength would wash over that world or maybe they would have to wait for another 100 years to leave. Even if there was no destructive strength, if they wanted to leave in 100 years later, would they even be allowed to? Nobody knew. Therefore, they didn't want to try. Many silhouettes flickered towards the exit. Let's go, said Ho Qinglin. The 4 of them also moved in that direction. 3 years. I wonder how the outside world is now, thought Lin Feng. He missed his friends and family members. 3 years was a long time, so many things could have happened while they were away. The 4 of them were extremely fast, so they neared the exit relatively quickly. But at that moment, in the distance, a dazzling golden light shined and sonic booms resounded in the sky. It's Rua Xia and the bird, noticed Ho Qinglin. His imperial weapon shined as he flew towards them. Stinky bird, thought Lin Feng as he followed Ho Qinglin, jumping onto his gigantic sword. Mo Peng, you must want to die, shouted Ho Qinglin furiously. Ban Rua was covered in his own blood already. The great oriental greenfinch rock turned his head and saw reincarnation energies reaching towards him. Slash, slash, the great rock flapped his wings and flew towards Ho Qinglin. Lin Feng also arrived with Ho Qinglin, holding his cursing scepter and yelling, Stinky bird, die. Cursing strength surrounded Mo Peng's body, turning him a little gray. He flapped his wings again, wanting to escape now. Die, 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 shouted Lin Feng. He used his full strength to attack the great rock. Ho Qinglin's silhouette flickered as he quickly assaulted the bird with reincarnation energies. The great rock gave a horrible shriek under this joint pressure. Bzzz, he protected himself with one wing and flapped the other to push himself towards the exit. Reincarnation death, shouted Ho Qinglin. Reincarnation sword energy surrounded the great rock, slowing him down as he neared the exit. Then Ho Qinglin jumped forwards and was practically on his tail as he exited the world. He knew that after the bird left, Emperor Peng would be on the other side. Then he wouldn't get another chance to kill the bird. Ban Rua, some silhouettes flickered. Ban Ruo was sitting cross-legged, trying to heal his injuries. Lin Feng arrived next to him and released life energies to help. He opened his eyes and nodded at Lin Feng. "What's going on?" shouted Tian Qi after he sensed that Ban Ruo was injured. "That stinky bird used an imperial weapon and injured him," replied Xing Zhan in a cold way. "That stupid animal again." Tian Qi's eyes were filled with cold lights. "That stupid animal chased us for a while, but then he saw 2 lights and left. We're safe and sound now thanks to those lights. We have to kill him at some point," said Ho Qinglin. "As long as you're alright, that's the most important thing." Lin Feng was displaying his fate seeds. "I wouldn't have thought that it helped you. We're all lucky." "I'm alright, so let's go," said Ban Ruo smiling at his friends. Then, the cultivators from Tiantai moved towards the exit. After they crossed the portal, they sensed that many people were looking at them, and all of them were emperors. None of them had left during these years. Then they sensed some people's murderous energies. They turned around and saw the bird. His qi was still gray, and he was in pain. "Teacher," said Tiantai's disciples to Emperor Yu. Emperor Yu smiled and nodded back to them. "Good." "Lin Feng," shouted a voice. It was the crown prince and the second prince of Tianlong. Emperor Tianlong was astonished. Only 2 princes came out. "What's going on?" asked Emperor Tianlong. "Father, 6 and 4 were, by Lin Feng," said the crown prince. He couldn't even say it. The words wouldn't come out. Emperor Tianlong looked at Lin Feng with a piercing gaze. "Why didn't you kill those 2 as well?" asked Emperor Yu, smiling indifferently. Lin Feng was surprised and laughed. Emperor Tianlong was worried for his trashy disciples because they're too weak, so he lent them an imperial weapon. "If they didn't have imperial weapons protecting them, I would have killed them too." Chapter 1438. 1 year more disciples continued to cross the portal after them. There were 34 groups in total, and a little more than 70 people came out. 11 disciples from Tiantai had made it out, but most groups only saw one of their disciples come out. Some of them had even lost all their disciples inside. "Not bad," said the messenger smiling and glancing at the crowd. "Much better than 100 years ago, stronger people and more of you made it out this time. You must have obtained some fate seeds too. For those of you who want to go to the holy city, tell your teachers, elders, or whatever and they'll bring you to me. At that moment, you can give me your fate seed and I'll take you to the holy city. Then you'll see how vast and great that place is." Many people looked excited after hearing him. Their teachers had never really told them about the holy city. Everybody in the continent knew that place existed, but they didn't know what it was or what it looked like. "Your Highness the Messenger, my son Qi Yan will get married soon. If you wish, you can come to the empire and have some drinks with us," said the East Emperor, Emperor Dong, to the messenger. "Oh," the messenger looked at Qi Yan and smiled. "That's Qi Yan, right?" "Indeed," said Emperor Dong nodding. He said to Qi Yan, "Greet the messenger." "Hello Your Highness the Messenger," said Qi Yan, bowing respectfully. He already knew that the messenger was an incredible cultivator. "Ha, not bad, you're a real genius." "Congratulations," said the messenger smiling. Lin Feng frowned. Not only was Emperor Dong a medium-level emperor but he also seemed to be good friends with the messenger. What was the messenger's social status in the Ba Huang province and in Jiuyu? "Alright, I'll close the door to the coffin. We're done for now, so everybody can leave," said the messenger while closing the door. "Let's go," said Emperor Yu. Then, they left. Emperor Peng and Mo Peng left as well. Then Emperor Qi, Tianlong and all the others. Bzzz. After Emperor Yu and his disciples reached the edge of the Huang Sea, a fissure appeared in the sky and they flew through it. There was a strong wind emanating from that crack and it was pitch black inside. A short time after, Emperor Yu broke the fissure and they reappeared above the northern part of Ba Huang. What a terrifying speed, thought Lin Feng. They had teleported across an incredible distance. Besides, It was as if their teacher had been avoiding attacks. He had sensed that Emperor Tianlong and Emperor Qi had attacked them while they were teleporting. Emperor Yu didn't say anything though. It seemed that even after the meeting of the emperors, the situation wasn't any better in Ba Huang. After the meeting of the emperors, the situation is going to get really scary for everyone in Ba Huang. During the meeting of the emperors, there were rules to respect, but now nobody cares anymore. Thought Lin Feng. Emperors were probably going to start fighting too. After a short time, they arrived in Tiantai. Everyone in Tiantai raised their heads to see who it was. They're back. They had disappeared for 3 years, and finally, they were all back, safe and sound. Lin Feng, 2 beautiful women threw themselves at Lin Feng. Meng Qing and Xiao Yuxian were excited to finally see that their lover was back. Meng Qing, Yuxian, said Lin Feng, also running at them. He landed in front of them and took them in his arms. They didn't need to talk, a hug was sufficed for now. Emperor Yu, said someone else. 2 silhouettes appeared from Tiantai's sky at that moment. It was Emperor Tianlong and Emperor Qi. What are you doing here? Asked Emperor Yu indifferently. The 11 direct disciples of Tiantai are extraordinarily strong, not even one of them died during the meeting of the emperors. Now that the meeting of the emperors is over, how many of them can you protect? Asked Emperor Qi. He was blatantly threatening them. If they die, killed by other cultivators of similar levels because they took risks, I wouldn't say anything. However, if you, Emperor Tianlong or Emperor Qi, attack them personally and kill them, Emperor Shi and I will kill all of your disciples, said Emperor Yu aggressively. He sounded calm, but his words were oppressive and sharp. We don't need to attack a bunch of little boys like them personally, said Emperor Qi while smiling in a cold way. I don't trust you, said Emperor Yu. Protect them well. We're off now, said Emperor Qi. Then he turned into an illusion and disappeared. Arg! Emperor Tianlong shouted furiously and a dragon appeared in the sky. Oppressive energies fell onto everybody in Tianjing City. The dragon roared again, rose up in the air, then he disappeared. The emperors just came back, and Tianjing City was already in shock. After that, the news that the emperors and their disciples had come back spread everywhere in Ba Huang, but almost nobody knew where they had gone for those past 3 years. People guessed that it had something to do with the meeting of the emperors. Unfortunately, they would never know. Only the most dazzling cultivators could experience such things. They were wondering though, had they gone to practice cultivation somewhere? Had they killed people? Had they been somewhere mysterious? In the sky above the sky in Tiantai, Emperor Yu was acknowledging his 12 direct disciples. Emperor Yu looked at them and said, "You'll have to be very careful from now on. Emperor Tianlong and Emperor Qi are insane, and the situation in the Ba Huang province is chaotic now that the meeting of the emperors ended." Chaotic, whispered Lin Feng. Indeed, very much so. Do you still remember the Imperial Assassin Union? Disciples who finish the meeting of the emperors alive all have the potential to become emperors, which means they're precisely the Imperial Assassin Union's targets. Explained Emperor Yu. And what about the Watchers? They were also very mysterious. Could they allow the province to be so chaotic? What if the Imperial Assassin Union wants our fate seeds, thought Lin Feng. A chaotic situation is sometimes necessary for stability in the end. Just be vigilant for now, that's all. It's not the end of the world, said Mu Qin smiling. He was trying to cheer up his fellow disciples. In times of chaos, things changed, for better or for worse. What about the holy city, whispered Lin Feng. His teacher hadn't mentioned the holy city yet. They had taken great efforts to get fate seeds in the Huang Sea to go to the holy city after all. Emperor Yu heard Lin Feng's whisper. He remained silent for a few seconds before saying, "In 1 year, bring your fate seeds to me and I'll take you to the holy city." In any case, added Emperor Yu. The crowd looked at him in a strange way. It was as if Emperor Yu still worried about something. "Only 1 year?" whispered Lin Feng. His heart was pounding. He was wondering if something incredible was going to happen within a year. Chapter 1439, Xia Tian Fan. There was a mist floating at the top of the flight of stairs in Tiantai. Lin Feng was there, fighting against his own illusion again. Boom! Explosions sounded and Lin Feng was propelled away. He was covered with sweat and fixedly staring at his own self. If I don't use abstruse energies to fight against myself, I don't stand a chance. He is 100 times stronger than me. I need to condense the force of the earth and sky better before I'll be able to win. My teacher told me that if I understood the force of the earth and sky properly, I'd definitely become an emperor, thought Lin Feng. Each floor was the same, another stronger counterpart. Lin Feng thought that if he passed the tests, he'd find a great place with cultivation treasures, but in fact there was no such thing. What emperor you wanted them to understand was that if they didn't unceasingly surpass themselves, they would stop becoming stronger. The test Lin Feng was trying to pass was meant to better teach them the force of the earth and sky. Becoming an emperor is difficult. Maybe after this counterpart, I'll have to defeat myself again, but 1,000 times stronger, thought Lin Feng. He stood up and continued fighting against himself. Lin Feng, have a rest, said Meng Qing when she saw that Lin Feng wasn't giving up. All right, said Lin Feng, turning around and smiling back at Meng Qing. Then he sat down. Cultivation is something you accomplish step by step, there's no need to rush, said Meng Qing, wiping the sweat off Lin Feng's forehead with her sleeve. I can't wait though. Besides, after becoming an emperor, I want you to give birth to our child, said Lin Feng. Meng Qing blushed and leaned against him. Meng Qing, I'm dirty, said Lin Feng. He was covered with sweat and he still hadn't had a shower. Never mind that, said Meng Qing, seemingly not caring. Lin Feng, said someone from the 7th floor smiling. Teacher. Lin Feng stood up and went down the stairs. He arrived in front of Mr. Bai and sat down. Teacher, you are almost a cultivator at the top of the Zun Qi layer, said Lin Feng smiling. His teacher had also been cleansed by the lights of the gate of Tiantai. He had broken through to the 6th Zun Qi layer already. Little boy, don't flatter me. You can defeat me in one punch now, said Mr. Bai smiling back. Then, he looked at Meng Qing and said, you remind me of my teacher and his lover. Teacher and his lover? Lin Feng repeated. Did Emperor Shi have a wife? He had never seen Emperor Shi, so he was curious. Yes, he had a wife too. She was very beautiful, a celestial being even. Everybody was jealous of them back then, said Mr. Bai smiling nostalgically. Back then, she was the most beautiful woman of Ganyu, and she was exceptionally talented. Many men courted her, and nobody could defeat her besides my teacher. They kept fighting, but she kept losing. Finally, I don't know how, but my teacher managed to make her fall in love with him. Lin Feng and Meng Qing glanced at each other and giggled. Emperor Shi had funny stories too. He had been in a relationship with the most beautiful woman of Ganyu. Teacher, did Emperor Yu tell you anything about Emperor Shi? Why have I never seen him or heard about him? He didn't, said Mr. Bai shaking his head. Maybe he left with his wife. Emperor Shi couldn't let Emperor Yu take care of everything alone. Maybe Emperor Shi really was practicing cultivation. I don't know if his wife has become a cultivation emperor yet though, said Mr. Bai. Lin Feng, I heard that you'll go to the holy city in a year. Will you be going back to Tianqi before then? Asked Mr. Bai. I'll go back at some point, said Lin Feng nodding. He was planning to go to the holy city, but he didn't know when he'd come back after the holy city, so he had some things to do before that. Meng Qing, I want to go back to Shuiyu, said Lin Feng. He had been away from home for 4 years, so he needed to go back and see his family. Then, he'd go to Ganyu and avenge some people. Should I come with you? Asked Meng Qing. She didn't directly say she wanted to go. Lin Feng dragged her hand and smiled. I initially wanted you to come back, but too many people want to kill me. You should stay in Tiantai for now. I'll come back soon. Alright, I'll wait for you, said Meng Qing in a gentle way. Teacher, I'm going, said Lin Feng, waving at his teacher. Then, he went back up the stairs to Chiu Yuxian and Meng Qing followed. Yuxian, I'm going away for some time. I'll come back within a year. You and Meng Qing should stay here and practice cultivation, said Lin Feng, caressing her face and smiling. Be careful. Chiu Yuxian was worried but didn't ask anything. Don't worry, said Lin Feng. Then, he hugged Meng Qing and said in a gentle way, wait for me. Then, Lin Feng left the two girls and rose up in the air. He jumped onto his gigantic sword and streaked across the sky at full speed. Lin Feng went to Tiansu town in the central part of Bahuang. Then, he went to the Wen clan. Shuiyu was far from Bahuang province, so Lin Feng needed time to go back and forth. He was heading in the direction of the Tiansu teleportation portal. The Tiansu teleportation portal could teleport cultivators to the Yunhai mountain range in Shuiyu, which would save him time running between countries. Outside of the Wen clan, there were many people there. On a broad platform, there was a cultivator in black clothes with a crowd of people around him. He looked particularly proud. Lin Feng was intrigued. Was that young man causing trouble at the Wen clan? He didn't know who that young man in the black clothes was. Lin Feng landed in the middle of the crowd and listened to some people talk. That young man was called Xia Tianfan and he was famous in the Bahuang province. He had become famous when they traveled to the ancient battlefield. He was famous because he had challenged Mu Fan Chen from the Magic World Heavenly Palace and had defeated him in one punch. Now, he had come to Tiansu town to challenge Wen Tiangu. He wanted to challenge all the 10 strongest young cultivators. In the distance, someone arrived. That cultivator was wearing white clothes and was holding a sword. When Tiangu had broken through to the 6th Zun Qi layer, like Lin Feng. Xia Tianfan rose up in the air and looked down at Wen Tiangu in a disdainful way. Wen Tiangu, one of the 10 strongest young cultivators, I've heard about your sword abilities. Let's fight, one attack will determine who the winner is, said Xia Tianfan straightforwardly. Alright, replied Wen Tiangu nodding. He didn't look conceited at all. He had heard of Xia Tianfan and how he had defeated Mu Fan Chen in one strike. Unsheath your sword, said Xia Tianfan calmly. Alright, said Wen Tiangu nodding. He jumped forwards and condensed the strength of the earth and sky. He looked like he could defeat a cultivator at the top of the Zun Qi layer with such an attack. Xia Tianfan's black robe fluttered even more violently as he condensed more and more qi. Loud sounds echoed, it sounded like a million horses galloping at the same time. A subtle noise sounded as when Tiangu unsheathed his sword. He condensed deadly and empty space strength into his attack. Die, shouted Xia Tianfan finally. He looked like an emperor with his energies whistling furiously. Chapter 1440, Beautiful Memories, How Strong, he definitely studied some strange and ancient scriptures, thought Lin Feng. He knew because he had studied such ancient scriptures himself. He had never seen other people use skills from ancient scriptures though. At that moment, Xia Tianfan's punches soaring through the sky. When Tianji's deadly abstruse energy was already level 8. Xia Tianfan also used deadly abstruse energy, but coupled with monarchic qi, it was even more explosive. Rumbling sounds appeared before when Tiangu was propelled backwards. Whoa! When Tiangu coughed up blood, his face was deathly pale. When Tiangu looked at Xia Tianfan, but he didn't look upset. Instead, he looked calm. There were always stronger people, so Wen Tiangu had never been conceited. He knew many people who were stronger than him, such as Lin Feng. Thank you, said Wen Tiangu calmly. Many people were surprised by that, thank you. Wen Tiangu was thanking Xia Tianfan. You're stronger than the last one I fought, said Xia Tianfan indifferently. He then rose up in the air, wanting to leave. The Wen clan didn't try to prevent him from leaving. Wen Tiangu had been defeated and he would benefit from it. He's now going to challenge Si Kong Xiao, thought the crowd. Xia Tianfan was so strong, so he probably wanted to defeat Si Kong Xiao, who was also one of the 10 strongest young cultivators of his generation. I hadn't thought that Wen Tiangu would be defeated in one punch, let alone coughing up blood. Only Mo Pang and Kong Ming could defeat him amongst the 10 strongest young cultivators of the previous generation, and Lin Feng, thought some people. They were wondering where those geniuses were now. They had disappeared for 3 years. How strong had they become? The crowd slowly dispersed, and Wen Tiangu also went back to the Wen clan. Wen Ao Shui was there too, and he nodded at Wen Tiangu after the fight. "Brothers," said someone. Wen Tiangu and Wen Ao Shui recognized the voice and turned around to see Lin Feng. Lin Feng. Wen Ao Shui smiled in a resplendent way. He was happy to see Lin Feng after such a long time. "You must think I'm worthless and ridiculous," said Wen Tiangu. Losing a battle didn't make him sad or angry. He was an extraordinary cultivator all the same, but still he apologized to Lin Feng. "Brother, losing is normal sometimes. Becoming stronger and learning from one's defeats is the most important thing," said Lin Feng politely. "But you've never lost a battle," said Wen Tiangu smiling. "Qi Qianxing banished me, and I almost died." Lin Feng reminded him while shaking his head. "That was an exception," said Wen Tiangu smiling. "Come to the Wen clan, let's have something to eat and drink." Tian Tai and the Wen clan were allies now, so Wen Tiangu and Wen Ao Shui were Lin Feng's friends. And now that everybody knew how strong Lin Feng was, everybody wanted to be friends with him. "I came to ask for something though. Please tell me. Can I use the Tian Su teleportation portal?" "I need to go back to Shuiyu," said Lin Feng honestly. He was convinced the Wen clan wasn't going to refuse his request. Maybe he'd have to pay something though. "Of course you can. It's no problem at all," said Wen Tiangu smiling happily. "But you should have a drink and something to eat with us then." "I can't, I'm in a hurry. I'll come back and take you up on your offer though, if you don't mind." When Tiangu remained silent, he was about to say something when Wen Ao Shui said, "Lin Feng, if you want to go home and see your family, I'll come back with you. My clan has a special portal in Shuiyu, so if I come with you, it'll be easier for you to make it back." Lin Feng wanted to refuse, but after listening to Wen Ao Shui, he looked at him in a strange way. The Wen clan had cast a special teleportation spell in Shuiyu. There are still some things he didn't know about. "I've lived in Shuiyu for so many years. Initially, I planned to go back with the clan, but now the whole thing is over. However, I really want to go back and see the Celestial Academy," said Wen Ao Shui, smiling gently. Lin Feng nodded, but he didn't say much. Then, when Tiangu and Wen Ao Shui brought Lin Feng to the Tian Su teleportation portal. There were many marks carved into the altar and it contained incredible empty space energies. When Tiangu and Wen Ao Shui knew how to activate it, and the guards didn't say anything when they approached. Lights dashed to the skies, surrounding Lin Feng and Wen Ao Shui before they disappeared. When Lin Feng and Wen Ao Shui reappeared again, they were in a mountain range. Yunhai Mountain Range, the geographical coordinates were exact, but each time they would end up in different places. The portal wasn't extremely precise. Lin Feng lowered his head and was surprised to see that some the Yunhai Mountain Range, which had been destroyed, were starting to grow again. It seemed like those mountains weren't natural though, they looked too perfect, like the Yunhai Mountain Range in the past. Good. Lin Feng was happy and smiled in a gentle way. The disciples of the Yunhai sect had practiced cultivation and had created the entire territory of the Yunhai sect again, just like in the past. There was the valley, the life and death battle stage, everything was there. "Who are you and what are you doing in the territory of the Yunhai sect?" shouted a young man, rising in the air using pure qi to fly. That young man looked a bit scared because those two people weren't even using pure qi to fly. That meant they had broken through to the Tian Qi layer already. "We're just having a walk," said Lin Feng, smiling. That young man was only a cultivator of the second Xian Qi layer. Lin Feng continued walking and then flew above the valley. He looked at the people who were practicing cultivation, and those were fighting in the life and death battle stage. The Yunhai sect had become a lot stronger than when he was a disciple. After all, the Yunhai sect was now the strongest sect of the country. The emperor of Shuiyu supported it, the legendary Lin Feng. Each year, many young men came to join the Yunhai sect. They first of them became external disciples. Some people even came from abroad because it was said that Lin Feng had left incredible treasures there, many terrifying skills and techniques as well as holy weapons. That young man didn't dare stop Lin Feng. He immediately flew away and to inform the elders of the sect that two terrifying cultivators had arrived and that they looked dangerous. Lin Feng was in the sky above the life and death battle stage and laughed. "I've fought some people on there as well. How do you feel? Nostalgic?" "It must feel strange," said Wen Ao Shui, smiling. "It feels strange indeed," said Lin Feng. He recalled things from the past, both good and bad. Lin Feng was already a terrifying cultivator now, but he could still recall how weak he was back then. Mr. Kong and Mr. Lin, two people were flying over. These two elders arrived and immediately noticed the two young men floating in the sky. They looked calm but enigmatic. It seemed that they had gone through a lot. Chapter 1441 The Yunhai sect's new face. Now, the Yunhai sect could be called the new Yunhai sect. There weren't many old men, but Lin Feng had saved a few people back then, including the Qi Xie soldiers. Those elders were amazed after seeing Lin Feng and Wen Ao Shui. They were older than most of the people in the Yunhai sect, but they looked incredible. They seemed very experienced and mature, especially the one who looked clean and manly. Lin Feng inspected them. Those two elders were high-level Xian cultivators. That wasn't bad considering what the Yunhai sect used to be. The two elders sensed that Lin Feng was inspected them, but they felt powerless. Just how strong were those young men? Mr. Kong remembered a statue he had seen in Yangzhou City. He shivered. "Are you Lin Feng?" "Lin Feng," the other elder shivered. Lin Feng, the legendary cultivator, could easily kill cultivators of the Zun Qi layer. Lin Feng smiled and nodded. The two elders breathed even faster. They were nervous. Then the two old men bowed respectfully. Even though the patriarch of the Yunhai sect wasn't Lin Feng, he was the one who had made it revive and was still considered as the patriarch by some. "Children, Patriarch Lin Feng came back to see you," shouted Mr. Kong with his hands around his mouth. Receiving Lin Feng as a visitor was an honor to them. Lin Feng was surprised but smiled in a calm and serene way. He hadn't thought his visit was anything special, but for the members of the sect it was different though. He remembered when he only had the strength of the Ling Qi layer or the Xian Qi layer and saw cultivators of the Zun Qi layer. He had admired them then as well. Zun cultivators used to be legendary back then. Lin Feng. Patriarch Lin Feng, the valley suddenly became silent. The disciples who were practicing cultivation opened their eyes and looked at Lin Feng in the distance. That handsome young man was Patriarch Lin Feng. "I've heard that he can easily kill Zun cultivators. Besides, he has a terrifying army that nobody can defeat. Even the best Zun cultivators bow before Patriarch Lin Feng. Legends say that he has a godly sword and that nobody can defeat him." Gossip quickly passed from mouth to mouth. Those were all the legends about Lin Feng. Everybody knew about him in Shuiyu. They now also knew many things people used to be unaware of in the past, such that after the Zun Qi layer, cultivators became emperors or even great emperors. Patriarch Lin Feng, many people shouted at the same time. Their voices resonated in the valley and echoed both far and wide. Many silhouettes flickered over as if something great was happening. Many people who were far away in the distance realized that something was going on, so there was only one possibility: Patriarch Lin Feng had come back. How dignified, thought Wen Ao Shui, who was calmly standing behind Lin Feng. He smiled happily, he felt determined after hearing all those people. Lin Feng hadn't realized how popular he was until then. They looked at him as if he were a hero. He remembered when he was down there himself and had just started practicing sword cultivation. Some silhouettes rose up in the air towards him. Lin Feng smiled thinly, his robe and hair were fluttering in the wind majestically. Many young women looked at him with admiration, he was so handsome. "Brother," shouted a loud voice. Lin Feng turned around and smiled. "Brother, you're here." Two people came towards Lin Feng. Lin Feng jumped forwards and hugged them. He put his hands on their shoulders and said, "Han Man, Pajun, you finally came back. We came back when you had just left. Uncle Lin told us to rebuild the Yunhai mountain range, so we did all that we could. It took us 3 years to do it though," said Han Man and Pajun. They weren't wearing masks anymore, seeing how their slave marks had disappeared. "Not bad," said Lin Feng, bumping fists with them. Han Man and Pajun had rebuilt the Yunhai mountain range, that's why it looks so magnificent again. It was a present for Lin Feng. Patriarch Han Man and Master Pajun are friends with Patriarch Lin Feng, they even called him brother, thought many people smiling. Seeing them act like brothers made them think that someday they'd become strong cultivators too, and that they'd also have extremely strong friends whom they'd call brother. "We did all we could. Uncle Lin told us you left some incredible resources and that you hoped the Yunhai sect would be rebuilt. That was our dream, so we're happy we did it," said Han Man smiling. He then said, "Brother Lin, look at the disciples, they look very motivated, don't they?" "They do," said Lin Feng, nodding and smiling. "Disciples of the Yunhai sect, tell Patriarch Lin Feng where you are," shouted Han Man. "Yunhai sect," shouted everyone. They were so loud that they surprised the animals in the distant mountains. They were ordinary cultivators, but altogether, their voices resonated loudly. "Brother Lin, since you came back, you should write something here. It's your Yunhai sect after all," said Han Man smiling, he sounded very enthusiastic. "Write something." Lin Feng smiled wryly. "Just a few words," said Pajun. "All right." Lin Feng nodded and jumped into the valley, landing in front of a wall. The crowd looked at Lin Feng, seemingly impatient. "Bzzz," Lin Feng carved some words with his finger on the wall. His finger was as sharp as a sword. He continued writing and the sword energies in his finger alone made people shiver. A few words from Patriarch Lin Feng was a priceless gift in their eyes. "Patriarch Lin Feng is writing the word, Yun," thought the crowd. The second word was, Hai, the third word was, Sect. Those words were each filled with a substantial amount of sword chi. "Go," shouted Lin Feng. The 3 words were deeply carved in the wall, they possessed immortal energy so that they would never disappear. "Yunhai sect," whispered the crowd. They were so happy. Those words had been written by their patriarch himself. Chapter 1442, Wushang. After carving those few words, Lin Feng flew back to the top of the valley. Everybody was still staring at the words Lin Feng had written. Those words would motivate many future sword cultivators. Patriarch Lin Feng didn't have a sword spirit, but his sword energies were terrifying. "I'll practice sword cultivation from now on, those words are even more precious than sword skills," thought many people enthusiastically. Lin Feng looked at the young cultivators, noting their enthusiasm. Lin Feng sighed, he remembered Patriarch Nan Gong and the protectors. He missed them. "Let's go," said Lin Feng to his friends using telepathy. Then, they flew away, leaving the crowd to think about a lot of things. "Patriarch Lin Feng will definitely come back to see us again someday," thought the young women. They were sad to see him leave. Lin Feng soon arrived in a vast and desolate area. He looked around and saw that the small world was well sealed. He was happy that Yan Di had done things properly. "Han Man, I don't know where the entrance is. Can you take me there?" Lin Feng asked Han Man using telepathy. He hadn't been there for 3 years, so he didn't know how his father had organized things. Alright. Uncle Lin listened to you in that the area is sealed. Yangzhou City itself is the entrance. Uncle Lin still lives in Yangzhou City, but Yangzhou City and the small worlds are protected by the same deployment spell. Few are allowed to go there, said Han Man using telepathy. He couldn't help but glance at Wen Ao Shui while he was talking. After all, Yen Di had protected those small worlds so that only those who were extremely close to Lin Feng's family could know their secrets. Lin Feng, I'm going to the former Imperial City. The Wen clan's teleportation spell is at the Celestial Academy, so when you're done here, just come and find me there. Then we'll go back to Ba Huang together, said Wen Ao Shui. Lin Feng nodded and said, Thank you, Ao Shui. Don't act so polite to me. Offer my greetings to Xinyi when you see her. Then when Ao Shui turned around, waved and left looking confident and at ease. Lin Feng watched when Ao Shui leave. Then, his 2 friends and he jumped onto his gigantic sword and flew to Yangzhou City. In a very short time, they arrived and were greeted by the deployment spell. Brother Lin, I can't believe Yangzhou City has become so incredible, said Han Man smiling. He hadn't seen Yangzhou City in a long time. Han Man and Pejun had already broken through to the Tian Qi layer, but now it was normal to see cultivators of the Tian Qi layer in Yangzhou City. Zun cultivators were still rare though. Shuiyu has the strength of a low-level empire now. It's also the strongest state in the Shuiyu region, said Pejun. Yangzhou City is the strongest city in the Shuiyu region, thought Lin Feng. He felt proud. There were cultivators of the Xian Qi layer everywhere, even Tian-level cultivators were normal. That was amazing. Yangzhou City had become strong. After a short time, they arrived at the palace. Lin Feng immediately disappeared and moved through the corridors with incredible speed. He was back so he wanted to rest for a short while, see his friends and family, then leave again. A pavilion, located in a calm and peaceful courtyard, Yu Menghe was playing with a 2-year-old child. Even though she was growing old, she was still strong and quite attractive. Wu Shang, come here, said Lin Hai, smiling at the child. The little boy smiled and looked at Yu Menghe, then he looked at Lin Hai. He was extremely cute. Mother, said the baby crawling towards Yu Menghe. Lin Hai smiled wryly. Yu Menghe smiled, she looked like a caring and loving mother as she took the child in her arms. Wu Shang, be a good boy. When you grow up, you'll be as strong as your big brother. You'll be a hero, said Yu Menghe, tickling the little boy's nose and smiling. Where's my brother? Asked the little boy. Because of the pure qi formed the earth and sky, children were smart in the cultivation world and developed faster. Lin Wushang could already speak and understood a lot of things even though he was only 2 years old. FWWWW, a strong wind started blowing, surprising Yu Menghe. Suddenly, someone appeared in front of her. First, she was startled, then a warm and gentle expression appeared on her face. Lin Feng looked at the little boy and the little boy looked back at him. Brother, whispered the little boy. He was amazed. Then, he turned his head to Yu Menghe as if he had been asking for her confirmation. You're very smart, Wu Shang, said Yu Menghe. She blushed unknowingly though. Brother, hug, said the little boy. He looked to be fascinated with Lin Feng. Yu Menghe gave Wu Shang to Lin Feng. It was the first time Lin Feng saw Wu Shang, so he felt touched. Wu Shang, said Lin Feng in a gentle way. He hadn't thought he would have a brother after those 3 years. But that was a good surprise. Maybe Yu Menghe and Lin Hai had decided to have a child because Lin Feng was never there. Brother, said Lin Wushang. He was getting used to saying the word, brother. He smiled, he was so cute. I have a little brother, thought Lin Feng smiling. Mom, Dad, thank you. You silly boy. Why thank us, said Yu Menghe wiping away her tears with her sleeve. Thank you for giving birth to such a cute and good little brother, said Lin Feng smiling. He raised Wushang up and said loudly, my brother, Lin Wushang, you'll become a hero someday. Hi hi. Lin Wushang smiled fatuously. Right, Wushang. You're 2 years old now and it's the first time I've seen you. I'm sorry about that, but I have a gift for you, said Lin Feng. He looked happy and excited. Yu Menghe and Lin Feng glanced at each other though. Lin Feng looked a bit strange compared to before, but they were still happy to see him. Lin Feng put Wushang on the ground and took out a ring. In a flash, a light appeared, and a cosmic strength flooded out. Yu Menghe and Lin Hai started suffocating. What a terrifying item. There were 9 fate seeds on the ground. Lin Feng had obtained 5 alone and had killed some people to get the other 4. Now, he had 9 in total. The fate seeds were of different colors, one was yellow like the ground, one was green like trees, one was red like fire, and so on. It was very beautiful. Everybody in Shuayu raised their heads and saw those lights in the sky. Lin Feng, said Yu Menghe. She was astonished. Lin Feng took Wushang in his arms and smiled, Wushang, look at them. Which stone do you want? You can only have one. Lin Feng wanted Wushang to choose the most suitable for himself. Wushang could be exposed to cosmic energies for the rest of his life, that would be great for his future. Brother, I want that one, said Wushang, pointing at the earth fate seed. Alright, it's for you, said Lin Feng, taking the others back and giving the small seed to Wushang. Chapter 1443, Astonishing. Back in the ancient battlefield of the Huangxi, so many things seemed alive because of those fate seeds. Lin Wushang had chosen the earth fate seed, so he would have an advanced knowledge of earth cultivation in the future. Thank you, brother, said Lin Wushang. He looked extremely cute as he put his hand on Lin Feng's face, making everybody laugh. Wushang, take a ring. What your brother offered you just now is an incredible gift, so don't take it out carelessly, said Yu Menghe. She looked at Lin Feng and said, Little Lin Feng, what did you give him? A fate seed. It contains cosmic strength. It's useful for a cultivator who wants to break through to the Huangqi layer. Wushang will be exposed to cosmic energies all the time from now on, so it'll be very beneficial for him, explained Lin Feng. Yu Menghe and Lin Hai's mouths twitched. Cosmic energy. Huangqi layer. They had never heard of those things before. They looked at Lin Feng with love. Their son was so amazing. He was definitely going to become an emperor. Wushang would probably become very strong too. Bzzz. 2 silhouettes appeared. Jian Ling Kong and Jian Ling Shao, both cultivators at the top of the Zunqi layer. Lin Feng frowned. Young master. Jian Ling Kong and Jian Ling Shao bowed after they saw that it was Lin Feng. You're not very polite, said Lin Feng indifferently and coldly. Young master, we saw the lights so we were worried, explained Jian Ling Shao after he saw Lin Feng was angry. You want to see what kind of treasure that was, right? Said Lin Feng coldly. Jian Ling Kong and Jian Ling Shao protected Shuayu, so they weren't supposed to be impolite and hurry over when they saw treasures. They didn't even greet him properly. Little Lin Feng, forget about it, said Lin Hai. He knew Lin Feng could be impulsive, but he knew how strong those 2 cultivators were. They were cultivators at the top of the Zunqi layer. They didn't know why Lin Feng had become their young master, but Lin Feng couldn't do anything to them. How could I, said Lin Feng. He jumped forwards and released terrifying destructive energies which quickly surrounded Jian Ling Kong and Jian Ling Shao. Die, shouted Lin Feng while releasing death chi as well. Jian Ling Kong and Jian Ling Shao started shaking. Instantly, their bodies were filled with death chi. They suddenly looked terrifying. Were they going to die? They had never felt that way before. Lin Feng could actually kill them. Forgive us, young master, shouted the 2 of them, kneeling down. They realized they had made a mistake. They used to respect Lin Feng because he was their ancestor's sword, but now he had become strong enough to kill them even. Next time, I won't be merciful, said Lin Feng, recalling his death energies. The two cultivators stood up again, but they were soaked in sweat. Thank you, young master, said the two, lowering their heads. Do what you must do, and you'll see Jiang rise again. You'll also get your fair share, said Lin Feng. He suddenly sounded gentler. The two nodded back to him. You can leave now, said Lin Feng. Jian Ling Kong and Jian Ling Shao immediately left. They didn't calm down for a long time after that. Their young master had become terrifyingly strong. He'd soon become an emperor and Jiang would rise. Phew, Lin Hai took a deep breath. Little Lin Feng had become terrifyingly strong in those 3-4 years he had been gone. Even the two strong cultivators from Jiang feared him now. Lin Feng had done that on purpose. When he wasn't in Shuiyu, Jian Ling Kong and Jian Ling Shao were the two strongest cultivators in the territory. If they didn't obey him, they could destroy everything he had built. They weren't supposed to come when they saw the cosmic energies, and when he wasn't there, his parents shouldn't have to be polite to them. Therefore, Lin Feng had to teach them a lesson and prove to them that he was strong enough to punish them if they went against him. Brother is so strong, said Lin Wushang, pulling on Yu Menghe's hand. Of course, he's the strongest. When you grow up, you'll also be a peerless cultivator, then nobody will dare annoy your dad and I again, said Yu Menghe while caressing Wushang's face and smiling. Yes, I'll be like my brother when I grow up and I won't let anyone annoy you, said Lin Wushang. He looked so cute. Wushang, said a voice at that moment. Wushang raised his head and shouted, Sister. You're still hiding, said Xiaoya, grabbing Wushang and hugging him. Then she threw him up in the air and caught him again. Brother, said Wushang in the air. Lin Feng shrugged, that girl was interesting. Xiaoya turned around and saw Lin Feng. She had become even more beautiful. Your brother didn't come to see me because he wanted to play with you, said Xiaoya to Wushang, giggling, which almost made Wushang cry. Lin Hai and Yu Menghe glanced at each other and smiled. Xiaoya was almost like their own child. Lin Feng walked forwards and Xiaoya stopped what she was doing to look at him. I haven't seen you for such a long time. I'm here now, said Lin Feng, pinching her cheek. Wushang, who was in her arms, slapped her face. Humph. Xiaoya looked angry. All right, I'm sorry, said Lin Feng in a gentle way. That's almost enough, said Xiaoya jokingly. She grabbed Lin Feng's hand and said, Bro, Xin Yi and Fei Fei miss you too. Let's go and see them. Little Lin Feng, you and Xiaoya can go, said Yu Menghe, taking Wushang from them. All right, said Lin Feng, nodding. He pinched Wushang's cheek and said, I'll come back to see you soon. All right, said Wushang, nodding. Then, Lin Feng and Xiaoya left. Elsewhere in the imperial palace of Shuiyu, there was a special portal in the deployment spell which protected the city and the small worlds. Only members of the family and their close ones could use it. It was one of the most important locations in the city, so very few people knew about it. Lin Feng and Xiaoya entered the empty space of the deployment spell and immediately landed in Empress Xi's small world. That's where Xin Yi and Lu Fei lived. Lin Feng and Xiaoya flew over to them in a short time. Xin Yi and Lu Fei already knew Lin Feng was there because they had heard some sounds before seeing him. There were many trees in the small world, among everything else which made that world so beautiful. Lin Feng smiled at them and hugged them. Lu Fei and Xin Yi put their heads on his shoulders, but said nothing, they just enjoyed that moment. Hi hi. Xiaoya giggled. She felt happy for them. Chapter 1444, Lu Fei. They enjoyed that peaceful moment for a short time. Lin Hai and Yu Menghe soon came and brought Wushang there. Yu Menghe was happy when she saw Lu Fei and Xin Yi in Lin Feng's arms. Xinyi, my big sister, said Wushang, running towards Xinyi. Xiaoya liked to tease Wushang, but Xinyi always praised him, so he preferred Xinyi. You silly boy, she's your sister-in-law, said Xiaoya giggling. I prefer big sister, it sounds more friendly, said Xinyi while caressing the child's head. Yu Menghe was so happy, what a beautiful family. Yu Menghe walked to Lin Feng and whispered, why didn't you bring Meng Qing, is she alright? Yu Menghe loved Meng Qing as her daughter-in-law. She was Lin Feng's first woman, and she was pure and celestial. Mom, I just came back for a few days, whispered Lin Feng. Yu Menghe seemed disappointed. Xinyi pinched Lin Feng. Only a few days. Lin Feng smiled wryly. There were great changes happening in Ba Huang, so he couldn't spend too much time in Shuiyu. Mom, don't worry, I have broken through to the 6th Zun Qi layer, and I'll soon become a cultivation emperor. When the time comes, I'll create my own small world and take you with me in there, said Lin Feng, cheering up his mother. She had no choice but to nod, be careful when you're abroad and take good care of Meng Qing. I won't let you off if something happens to her. Don't worry, said Lin Feng smiling. Brother, Xinyi always says Meng Qing is the most beautiful girl in the world, why didn't you bring her here? I want to see her, said Wushang. Lin Feng laughed and said, when you grow up, you'll meet her. Alright. It's a promise, said Wushang giggling. Wushang is so cute. I wish I had a child too, said Xinyi smiling. Lin Feng caressed her cheeks and smiled, don't be impatient, when I become a cultivation emperor, my blood will be better. Then, you'll all give birth to my children. You think you're going to make us all pregnant and get a bunch of children, said Xinyi, grinding her teeth shyly. Lu Fei turned red. Even though Lin Feng had told her she was his woman, it wasn't that official, so she blushed when she heard him. Lin Feng looked at Lu Fei. She looked stunning and charming in her red skirt. Have you gotten used to living here? Asked Lin Feng to Lu Fei. By now, her face was almost as red as her dress. I'm happy to live with your parents and Xinyi, said Lu Fei. She wasn't as impulsive as in the past. She sounded warm and gentle now. That's good. I didn't want to make you angry a moment before, said Lin Feng. What are you talking about? Said Lu Fei, smiling and blushing. She still had her head resting on Lin Feng's shoulder. Mom, Dad, I should take Wushang out to play. Xinyi looked at Lin Feng and Lu Fei, then she smiled in a gentle way. Alright, said Yu Menghe, she knew what Xinyi meant, so they all left. I'll go play with Xinyi and Wushang as well, said Xiaoya while smiling and looking at Wushang. He looked at Xiaoya as if she was evil because she always teased him. Lu Fei blushed even more. Xinyi, said Lu Fei. She looked impatient though, she wanted to be Lin Feng's woman officially. Xinyi smiled at Lu Fei and saw Yi Shui and Yun Shi in the distance. The two girls lived with Xinyi, so they naturally understood why Xinyi was looking at them as they left. The atmosphere became very calm, Lin Feng and Lu Fei were alone now. Lu Fei's heart was pounding, she was feeling extremely shy. You're so beautiful, we should do something, said Lin Feng smiling. He knew Lu Fei was feeling nervous. I don't want to, said Lu Fei in a weak voice. Her fingers felt extremely rigid. Are you sure? Said Lin Feng, putting his hand on her chin. She didn't know what to say. She was overwhelmingly nervous. Lin Feng had a smile, yet not a smile on his face. She pushed him away and said, you bastard. Ha! Lin Feng laughed. He grabbed her hand and pulled her in closer, you've always thought I was a bastard. Lin Feng kissed her on the lips and put his hands around her. Then, he dragged her down to lie down on the grass. Lu Fei relaxed and let herself go. Her heart was pounding as Lin Feng kissed her passionately and put his hand on her breasts. He slowly reached his hands up inside her skirt, resting it on her thighs. Mmh. When Lin Feng put his hand on her breasts and caressed them, Lu Fei moaned. She felt like she was going to faint, she felt so weak. What a bastard! Lin Feng was gently caressing her, making her all red. She closed her eyes and submitted herself to him. Lin Feng was burning. After having made love with Yi Renlei back then, he had become extremely perverted. He loved beautiful women even more nowadays. He looked at her face while making love to her and saw that she was enjoying it a lot. She was biting her lips as he continued taking off her clothes. Her breasts were extremely beautiful. They looked silky white, and her nipples were red and erect. Lin Feng's eyes were filled with fiery passion. Lu Fei put her hands around Lin Feng. She had no strength anymore. It was an amazing feeling. Lin Feng raised her up and held her. They were making love and he was walking at the same time. How strange. Very quickly, they arrived in her room. He set her down on the bed and undressed her completely. Lu Fei put her head under the blanket for she didn't dare look. Fei, you're mine, said Lin Feng biting and licking her lips. Lu Fei had the sensation she was going to faint, she couldn't convince herself to look at his face. It was her first time having intercourse, so it was painful, but at the same time it was incredibly pleasant. She was finally Lin Feng's woman, officially. She belonged to him. Lin Feng, I'm yours, said Lu Fei as she opened her eyes and looked at him. He put his hands on her breasts again and played with them. She was so soft and so beautiful. Lin Feng continued making love to her for hours. How wonderful! Chapter 1445, Beautiful times. For a long time afterwards, that room would still smell like Lu Fei and Lin Feng. Lu Fei was resting on the bed, she was exhausted, and she was in pain, but she was happy. She was covered with sweat and was breathing deeply. Her breasts continued bobbing up and down. Fei, you're so beautiful, said Lin Feng, watching her milky white breasts. Outside, Xinyi and Xiaoye had came back already. Their hearts were pounding when they saw nobody was there, were they? Xiaoye, let's sit down here, said Xinyi, recalling when she had been deflowered by Lin Feng. Xiaoye sat down, her eyes were twinkling, and she nodded. She felt awkward, as if she was still innocent herself. Xinyi looked at Xiaoye and smiled. Xiaoye, you're beautiful too. You should also find a man. Xinyi, I don't want to, said Xiaoye blushing. Cough. Lu Fei and Lin Feng came out. Lu Fei's hair was messy, and her face was red. She didn't dare look at Xiaoye and Xinyi in the face. Xinyi smiled in a gentle way. Fei had been waiting for that for such a long time. Lu Fei, are you alright? You're so red, said Xiaoye while running to Lu Fei and grabbing her hand. Lu Fei was speechless, she was still sweating intensely. She feared that she might even faint. Fei, sister, your dress is torn apart and all wrinkled, said Xiaoye. Lu Fei's heart felt like it was going to explode from embarrassment. Cough. Lin Feng coughed. He was shy too. My little Xiaoye, you're so beautiful, you need a man, said Lin Feng, pinching her cheeks. She pushed his hands away and put her hands on his neck saying, I don't want to. I want to stay with you and my sisters forever. You still have to take me to my grandfather. Alright, in 1 year, I'm going to go to the holy city. If it's safe then, I'll take you there, said Lin Feng, still pinching her cheeks. Xiaoye's eyes twinkled, she smiled and said, when you go, please be careful. There are many strong cultivators in the holy city. Thank you for warning me, said Lin Feng. He knew he had to be careful if he went to the holy city. Alright, I'm going to see Wu Shang and play with him some more, said Xiaoye smiling as she ran away. Xinyi smiled wryly. Poor Wu Shang, Xiaoye was going to tease him again. Lin Feng, go to the hot springs and take a bathe. You're covered with sweat, said Xianyi smiling. Fei Fei, go with him, said Xianyi smiling at Lu Fei. Ah, when Xianyi said that, Lin Feng took Xianyi in his arms and lifted her up. Then they started running towards the hot springs. Xianyi, you're going to bathe with us, said Lin Feng smiling. Xianyi blushed. The three of them were then in the hot springs, laughing and talking. They were more open-minded now that Lin Feng and Lu Fei had made love. Xianyi, Yishui, and Yunxi, why don't you find men for them? The Qi Xie soldiers are outstanding men, you should check if some of them are a good match, said Lin Feng as his hands roamed over her. They don't want to and it's your fault. Yunxi is innocent, you took her back and saved her life after all. She'd never abandon you. Yishui is like a sister to me, she would never leave me either. She often talks about you, how you saved her from slavery, said Xianyi in a gentle voice. Lin Feng was surprised, but he understood though. Yunxi was innocent, and Yishui was smart. When he was there, they were always silent. They always looked at him from far away and smiled. They also wanted to be close to him, but they respected him. Maybe if you take them out often, they'll meet a man they like, said Lin Feng smiling and hugging Xianyi. They changed their clothes and went to where Xiaoya and Wushang were playing. Wushang looked at Lin Feng, stuck his tongue out and shouted, brother. Ha! Xianyi and Lu Fei laughed at Wushang's expression. Lin Feng took Wushang in his arms. Too bad he was too small, Lin Feng couldn't transmit any of his knowledge to him with his godly awareness. He had to break through to the Tian Qi layer first and then Lin Feng would transmit imperial scriptures to him. Yishui, go and find my parents, Han Man and Pejun. They must all be in the palace. We'll have dinner together, said Lin Feng to Yishui who was behind. Understood, master, said Yishui nodding. Then Yunxi and Yishui ran away. No rush, said Lin Feng shaking his head and smiling. It's all right, shouted Yishui in the distance. After a short time, Lin Feng, his parents, Han Man and Pejun were all together outside, chatting, drinking, and laughing. Lin Feng took out some strong alcohol, which he shared with Han Man and Pejun who he hadn't seen for such a long time. They had to get drunk together. Little Lin Feng, that one is for you, my son, said Lin Hai raising his glass and cheering with his son. He smiled and shouted back, Dad. Little Lin Feng, you've been through a lot abroad. Even though I don't understand everything, I'm happy we can be together today and enjoy ourselves. I wish you much more success, and I hope you'll reign over the entire continent someday, but most importantly, take care of yourself, said Lin Hai. Yu Menghe also raised a glass and said, Little Lin Feng, you're my little treasure. I also wish you the best, take care of yourself, said Wushang grabbing a glass on the table and raising it. Everybody then laughed together. I will, replied Lin Feng. Life was so beautiful sometimes. They all drank, even Wushang drank a sip of the strong alcohol, but it burnt his throat and caused him to cry. His face turned all red and everybody laughed loudly. He was only 2 years old and was already drinking. Lin Hai tapped Wushang's head and smiled. When Lin Feng was small, he wasn't so lucky. He had a very difficult life because I wasn't very strong. You can be happy and grateful to have such an incredible brother. Wushang is lucky, said Yu Menghe happily and gently. Everybody looked at Wushang. Indeed, he was lucky, not many people would dare offend him in the entire Shuiyu region in the future. Everybody laughed, drank, and ate for 2 more hours. After that, Lin Hai and Yu Menghe left with Wushang. Han Man and Pejun also went back to the Yunhai sect. Lin Feng said to Yishui, Yishui, go to Jian Ling Kong and Jian Ling Shao, tell them to go to Black Feather and destroy the Tian Sha sect. Then, give my sword to Jian Ling Shao and tell him to go to the Ganyu region. Tell him to take my sword to the Tian Qi Empire, to the top of the Tian Qi snowy peaks. Tell him to ask the current leader of the Tianji Peak to organize the great sect meeting in Asoka Mountain. Roger, master, said Yi Shui, and then she left with Lin Feng's Tianji sword. Lin Feng smiled thinly. Chapter 1446, Meeting in Asoka. After everybody left, things became calm again. Lin Feng, Xin Yi, and Lu Fei were alone together again. Lin Feng raised his head and smiled, looking at the moon. Yan Di, that guy is mysterious. From outside we can't see the small worlds, but from inside we still can see the moon and the sun. It's beautiful, said Xin Yi, who was leaning against him. The moon is beautiful, just like you, said Lin Feng. Xin Yi smiled thinly, you're even more glib-tongued. Lu Fei is more beautiful than me. It depends from which perspective, said Lin Feng, laughing. Xin Yi and Lu Fei turned red and nudged his shoulder. Ha, you're both beautiful. You look sophisticated and elegant, whereas Fei Fei is extremely sexy, said Lin Feng, smiling and hugging his girls. You're just lucky to have us, said Xin Yi. Should we all sleep together tonight, said Lin Feng. You can stay with Fei Fei. Nah, he stayed with me already. He should stay with you, said Lu Fei. Lin Feng laughed and said, you're so complicated, let's just sleep together. Stop it. Lin Feng, you're so perverted, said the two girls. I can take care of both of you, said Lin Feng, laughing. He looked at Lu Fei and said, Fei Fei, tomorrow evening, I'll stay with you. Of course, if you want to, you can also join us tonight. Bastard, shouted Lu Fei furiously. Lu Fei then left with Xin Yi. In a small cabin, Xin Yi took off her clothes and lied down on the bed next to Lin Feng. He put his hands around her and kissed her lips. What a perfect night for Lin Feng and Xin Yi. However, for Lu Fei, it was a bit different. She felt uncomfortable. She kept recalling that moment when they were making love before. She was wondering what Lin Feng and Xin Yi were doing. She was wondering if they were making love too. When she realized what she was thinking about, she blushed shyly. Lin Feng spent some days in the small world, and they were all amazing days. He didn't practice cultivation, he just focused on his friends and family members. He hadn't come back for 3 years, so he played a lot with Wu Shang. Han Man and Pejun ate and drank with him every day. They also talked about cultivation. Lin Feng even taught them some things. Sometimes, they also talked about the Yunhai sect. Lin Feng spent his nights either with Xin Yi or with Lu Fei. He enjoyed himself a lot, making love with them every night. What a wonderful life. He felt grateful, and the girls also enjoyed his company too. They knew he was going to leave soon and they didn't know when he would come back. Yi Shui and Yun Shi even chatted with Lin Feng sometimes. Xiaoya also teased him a lot, no wonder that Wu Shang feared her. Lin Feng was happy to see Xiaoya growing up. She slowly forgot about her brother's death and missed her grandfather even less than before. The imperial palace was like her home. Finally, Lin Feng had to leave for Ganyu. At that moment, Jian Ling Kong came back from Black Feather. He had destroyed the Tian Sha sect. In the Asoka Valley, the fire had gradually disappeared after Lin Feng used a spell to cheat them and steal their fire. He had also killed many strong cultivators. Then, he disappeared and powerful people had wanted to destroy Tianqi, but it was protected by a powerful spell. After that battle, Tianqi had risen and become stronger. Lin Feng had attacked the patriarch of the Xiaoyao sect, who then left Ganyu and chased him to Ba Huang. In the end, he came back with some strong cultivators and recreated the Xiaoyao sect. Shengong had been destroyed because the strong cultivators from Tianqi had killed them. They had recreated Shengong afterwards, but it was less powerful than the Xiaoyao sect. The East Sea Dragon Palace and Jade Heaven were still there, and they were still powerful but less than Tianqi. Since 2 extremely strong cultivators had left Tianqi, the other leaders of Ganyu had started taking cultivation seriously again. Now, Tianqi wanted to organize the great sect meeting where the all-young disciples of Ganyu were going to compete. Tianqi had organized the meeting in Ahsoka. The previous great sect meeting had also taken place there. Ahsoka's soil was arid after everything had burnt from the void fire. The battle stage was still there, so it'd make a perfect spot to host the competition. There were many people from different groups around the battle stage. Tianqi, the Xiaoyao sect, Jade Heaven, the East Sea Dragon Palace, Shengong, the Nine Cloud Sword sect, the Necropolis sect and so on. The patriarch of the Xiaoyao sect had lost an arm and still hadn't recovered it. Spells imbued with holy marks should not be taken lightly. All the leaders are here, thought the crowd glancing around. The patriarch of the Xiaoyao sect, Duan Mu from Jade Heaven, Nie Qing, the King Dragon and so on, Tian Xian's leader was there too. Those days, Tian Xian was the leading peak of Tianqi after Tian Gzi and Mr. Bai had left. Tian Xian had been chosen to lead the 7 peaks since they had risen thanks to them and since Lin Feng had studied there. Why did you decide to organize the meeting here? Said the patriarch of the Xiaoyao sect in a cold way. They still wanted to destroy Tianqi, so Tianqi was insane to organize that meeting. The patriarch of the Xiaoyao sect, the King Dragon and the others glanced at each other. Tianqi wanted to bring about its own destruction this time. Mister, is there a problem? Asked an old man to the patriarch of the Xiaoyao sect using telepathy. There's only one trivial cultivator of the 7th Zun Qi layer here, will gain control over Ganyu this time, said the old man. He was a strong cultivator from the godly Xiaoyao sect, one of the more powerful groups from the Ba Huang province. He wanted to help the Xiaoyao sect become the rulers of Ganyu. Just wait. Don't be impatient, said the leader of Tian Xian to Jianling Shao. The Xiaoyao sect has cultivators at the top of the Zun Qi layer, 3 of them, and one of them has broken through to the 8th Zun Qi layer. Just wait until our young master comes, said Jianling Shao using telepathy. The godly Xiaoyao sect was helping, otherwise, the Xiaoyao sect couldn't possibly have cultivators at the top of the Zun Qi layer. Chapter 1447, Beginning of a Massacre. The leader of Tian Xian frowned. 3 cultivators at the top of the Zun Qi layer were on the side of the Xiaoyao sect. He had never seen such strong cultivators in his life. He was worried about how he could fight against them. Let's start, said someone at that moment. The leader of Tian Xian turned around and saw someone in the middle of the group from Tianqi. It was Lin Feng. Lin Feng nodded and glanced around. We'll see who the strongest young cultivators of Ganyu are. Those who want to try need to hop onto the battle stage. Humph, the patriarch of the Xiaoyao sect groaned coldly. A young man behind him immediately ran towards the battle stage and jumped on it. He had broken through to the 6th Tianqi layer, so he was already quite strong in Ganyu. The patriarch of the Xiaoyao sect was surprised and looked at the cultivators from Tian Xian. A young man from Jade Heaven also jumped onto the battle stage and released his qi. The young man of the East Sea Dragon Palace also released dragon qi. Then, Shengong, the 9 Cloud Sword sect, Jade Heaven, and so on all had disciples who jumped onto the battle stage. Some disciples from other groups also joined in, but not many. Why had Tianqi organized the great sect meeting and why in Ahsoka? What about Tianqi? Asked the patriarch of the Xiaoyao sect coldly. Here, said a silhouette who rising in the air. It was again Lin Feng. He had asked Jianling Shao to organize the meeting so that all his enemies would gather together and now they couldn't escape him. Dealing with all those people at once was less troublesome. East Sea Dragon Palace, Jade Heaven, you're here, thought Lin Feng. He had to approach this slowly. The East Sea Dragon Palace and Jade Heaven had made him suffer a lot in the past, even Meng Qing had turned back into an animal because of them. He had turned into a demon, they had killed his teacher Yanyu, Lu Tsanglan had also died because of those things. Lin Feng wanted to avenge those people he loved and respected. King Dragon, Duanmu from Jade Heaven, Mia Qing from Shingang and the others were all greatly upset after they saw Lin Feng, especially the patriarch of the Xiaoyao sect. Mia Qing and the others had almost fallen because of Lin Feng. Die. Terrifying energies moved towards Lin Feng. They have wanted to kill Lin Feng for a long time now, and surprisingly, he had come. How dare you show your face? Even though the patriarch of the Xiaoyao sect was strong, after chasing Lin Feng to Ba Huang, he went to the godly Xiaoyao sect who then sent him back with some cultivators at the top of the Zun Qi layer. The godly Xiaoyao sect wanted the Xiaoyao sect to rise again in Ganyu. Lin Feng glanced at the patriarch of the Xiaoyao sect indifferently. He looked calm and serene. Then, he also looked at the leaders from the East Sea Dragon Palace and Jade Heaven. He was trying to see if there were any others he recognized. Quickly, he noticed two silhouettes. One was from Jade Heaven, the one who had saved Duan Wu Dao. The other one was from the East Sea Dragon Palace, he had also taken Duan Wu Ya. Those people looked quite weak, but back in the day, they were extremely strong for Lin Feng. Do you recognize me? Asked Lin Feng to those two people. They were surprised, of course they recognized him. Do you all want to die? Said Lin Feng, looking over them in a cold way. You should think carefully first, said King Dragon aggressively. Lin Feng was being ridiculous, without the deployment spell in Tianqi, they would have died long ago. Is that so? Come and kill me then, said Lin Feng smiling. You think hiding your cultivation level is enough? You may be strong, but after a few years, you can't be that strong either, said Duanmu. Kill him, shouted Duanmu. Kill him. Kill him. The patriarch of the Xiaoyao sect, Mia Qing, and the king dragon silhouettes flickered. Who is he? Asked some people who didn't know Lin Feng. It's Lin Feng, he used to be a genius disciple in Tianqi in the past and now he's back. Even though years had passed, many people still remembered Lin Feng. That's Lin Feng. No wonder, some younger people had already heard about Lin Feng but had never seen him. The Necropolis sect and the Nine Cloud Swords sect are not showing any emotion. Do they want to kill Lin Feng too? Thought some people. Patriarch, the godly Xiaoyao sect is involved. What should we do now? Asked a strong cultivator from the Nine Cloud Swords sect to the patriarch using telepathy. The patriarch's eyes twinkled, then he looked at Lin Feng and said, lacerate him. After a short time, they joined the others. Lin Feng maybe had precious treasures. If they helped kill him, they'd get a share of his treasures. Then, they could let the Xiaoyao sect deal with Tianqi if they both suffered heavy losses, that'd be more than okay with them. That was what the patriarch of the Nine Cloud Swords sect was thinking. You shouldn't have come back, the patriarch of the Necropolis sect had also made his decision. He knew that everybody wanted to kill Lin Feng, which also came down to fighting against Tianqi. Lin Feng looked at the patriarchs of the Nine Cloud Swords sect and the Necropolis sect, then he smiled indifferently and said, your decision is not the best one I think. At that moment, millions of threads of qi moved towards Lin Feng. Even the patriarchs of the weakest sects were participating. Come, all of you, said Lin Feng turning around. He also looked at the disciples on the battle stage, a bunch of insects compared to Lin Feng. Boom! Die! All the disciples on the battle stage also decided to attack. Die, said Lin Feng. He released a terrifying death qi and all the cultivators who were attacking Lin Feng suddenly stopped. Their qi became gray and they looked desperate. Boom! A silhouette collapsed, and then another. A large majority of them had died. Their vitality was nothing compared to Lin Feng's death qi. How weak. Next batch, but send stronger people this time, said Lin Feng glancing at the crowd. The massacre could start. Chapter 1448, Who is not going to die? How weak, the crowd was awestruck. They looked at all the corpses and their hearts started pounding. He had killed a bunch of people in the blink of an eye. Abstruse energy, it's a rare kind, death abstruse energy, thought a few Zun cultivators. They understood that Lin Feng was using abstruse energies, but that kind of abstruse energy was incredibly rare. Cursing strength, thought the old man next to the patriarch of the Xiaoyao sect. He was even more horrified. Surprisingly, that young man knew cursing energy. Unfortunately, the old man didn't know Lin Feng would be there, otherwise, he wouldn't have come. What about the patriarchs? Are you all cowards and weaklings? Said Lin Feng glancing at the patriarchs. Then, they all released qi at him. This time, Zun cultivators were attacking. They were only cultivators of the second or third Zun qi layer though. You will die, yelled a strong cultivator from the East Sea Dragon Palace. His hand turned into golden claws which moved aimed for Lin Feng's viscera. Lin Feng didn't move again. Some metallic ringing sounded, and Lin Feng's clothes were torn apart, but the claws didn't affect him at all. That cultivator frowned. He continued bombarding Lin Feng's body, but his golden abstruse energy didn't work on Lin Feng. That attack could destroy a mountain, but they didn't even leave a paper cut on Lin Feng. How's that possible, he thought. Finally, some fire energies surrounded him. Then, he gave a horrible shriek and he burnt to death. The cultivators of the East Sea Dragon Palace are all trash, said Lin Feng, glancing at the patriarch of the East Sea Dragon Palace. Then, he looked at the other Zun cultivators who were middle-aged men, the strongest of which was a cultivator of the third Zun qi layer. What are you looking at? Why don't you attack, said Lin Feng rather calmly. Those people then released their spirits and attacked at the same time. At that moment, qi rolled in waves towards Lin Feng, distorting the space around him. Life drain, said Lin Feng, releasing more death qi. No matter how strong their spirits were, Lin Feng's death energies were terrifying. Those people stopped moving at the same time and collapsed. Their corpses fell from the sky and crashed onto the ground. Lin Feng hadn't even moved yet. They're all dead, just like before, thought the crowd. What is his cultivation level? Asked the patriarch of the Xiaoyao sect while clenching his fists. Lin Feng's qi was unfathomable. Surprisingly, he managed to kill so many Zun cultivators already. The patriarch of the Xiaoyao sect looked at the old man who frowned, then he said to Lin Feng, I'm not sure, but he is using death-cursing energies to kill people. That alone makes him a difficult opponent. We must kill him anyways, said the patriarch of the Xiaoyao sect. A bunch of trash, everybody come and attack me at once, said Lin Feng. He then pointed his finger at the patriarch of the Xiaoyao sect and the others and added, the patriarch of the Xiaoyao sect, King Dragon from the East Sea Dragon Palace, Nie Qing, Duan Mu, the patriarch of the Nine Cloud Sword, the Necropolis sect, all of you, come and attack. I don't mind. Who's going to kill him? The Xiaoyao sect was being humiliated by a young man, so the patriarch was even more furious. Boom, a silhouette jumped onto the stage. He moved very quickly using the Xiaoyao agility technique. Die, shouted that cultivator. He punched the air in Lin Feng's direction, but then he realized Lin Feng wasn't there anymore. Is that the Xiaoyao agility technique you're trying to use? Asked Lin Feng. He was already far away in the distance and was glancing at that cultivator indifferently. Should I teach you how to use it properly? Lin Feng continued to mock him. Then, he disappeared and illusions of him appeared everywhere. He looked confident and at ease, that was the real Xiaoyao agility technique. That person's face turned deathly pale, he couldn't even see Lin Feng anymore. You should give me a try too, said Lin Feng. At that moment, he had already killed the one who just tried to attack him, and kicked his corpse towards the patriarch of the Xiaoyao sect who caught it. He looked furious. How come Lin Feng was so strong? Boom, 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 many strong cultivators threw themselves at Lin Feng, and all of them belonged to different groups. The majority of those people were elders now. The elder of the Nine Cloud Swords sect was particularly strong. Terrifying energies rolled in waves towards Lin Feng. Lin Feng was still standing there, looking at those people. Then he said, "Die." Slash, slash, his death chi flooded out and drained those people's lives out. "No!" shouted the strong cultivator from the Nine Cloud Swords sect. He was still flying towards Lin Feng and holding his sword when the death chi overcame him. "Collapse," said Lin Feng. Death lights emerged from his eyes and that cultivator suddenly looked petrified. His body turned gray, his life was draining out, then he collapsed and died. "Die," said Lin Feng when he saw that some people were still standing. His voice contained death energies, enough of them to kill the few who were still standing. This time, the elders of all the sects were dead and had crashed onto the battle stage. Impossible, thought the crowd. How was that possible? Lin Feng could kill people just by saying, "Die." Brother Lin Feng is so strong. No wonder he's a genius from Tianqi, thought some people from Tianqi. "Are you going to come or not?" asked Lin Feng to the patriarchs. They were afraid now. He had killed the elders of their groups, which meant he was probably as strong as them. A young man from Tianqi had become so strong, but how strong would he become in the future? The patriarch of the Xiaoyao sect, King Dragon from the East Sea, Nie Qing, "Duan Mu, if you're not coming to me, I'll come to you," said Lin Feng, slowly walking towards them. The people from the East Sea Dragon Palace released Qi to oppress Lin Feng, but without much of an effect. "Kill him," shouted many senior officials of the East Sea Dragon Palace. Then they threw themselves at Lin Feng. "You're being too reckless," said Lin Feng, still walking normally and indifferently. The strong cultivators from the East Sea Dragon Palace looked like dragons as they lunged forwards. But Lin Feng didn't even need to move, he just had to walk and people around him died from of his death chi. He was terrifying. Chapter 1449, You Can Shake. When Lin Feng reached the edge of the battle stage, all the senior officials of the East Sea Dragon Palace were already dead and lying around. The crowd was wondering how could that young man be so strong. The crowd noticed that King Dragon from the East Sea Dragon Palace was looking terrified. What was Lin Feng's cultivation level? Back then, the East Sea Dragon Palace came to Shuiyu to kill my people. "Who sent you to Shuiyu?" said Lin Feng to King Dragon. "Does it matter now?" asked King Dragon. Lin Feng was maybe going to die, or he was going to die, so it didn't matter any longer. "You're right, but I can't forgive people who participated in the massacre," therefore, Lin Feng's eyes were filled with ice-cold energies, scaring King Dragon. He looked at the corpses and realized that Lin Feng alone posed a real threat to the East Sea Dragon Palace. "Jianling Shao," shouted Lin Feng. "Young master," said Jianling Shao, bowing before Lin Feng respectfully. "Go to the East Sea Dragon Palace and kill everybody, none of them should remain," said Lin Feng indifferently. Everybody heard him clearly. "No!" shouted the King Dragon furiously. "Patriarch," said King Dragon to the patriarch of the Xiaoyao sect, he was begging for help. The patriarch of the Xiaoyao sect looked indifferent though, he wanted to see Lin Feng and King Dragon fight to see how strong Lin Feng was. "Roger, young master," said Jianling Shao. Then he left with incredible speed. "When you're done with them, go to Jade Heaven and kill everybody there as well," said Lin Feng. Jianling Shao nodded in the distance. People heard a sonic boom as he left. The crowd, especially people from Jade Heaven, were shivering. "Kill him," shouted Duanmu to the King Dragon. However, at that moment, Lin Feng took a step forwards and the ground quaked beneath him. King Dragon looked at Lin Feng, he had the feeling that he was going to die. He looked desperate now that he realized that Jianling Shao wasn't the strongest cultivator. The crowd watched as Lin Feng raised his fist and the space around King Dragon became distorted. "No!" shouted the King Dragon furiously. He wanted to fight back but he couldn't. Explosions sounded, and King Dragon's head blew up in countless pieces. Was that actually King Dragon? Thought the crowd. They couldn't believe their eyes. Had Lin Feng destroyed him in one punch? The body of the king dragon fell, his body was convulsing on ground without a head. It's an illusion. That's impossible. Many people closed their eyes and reopened them, and they still couldn't believe it. Tianqi's people were astonished too, they were shaking even. Lin Feng had made the king dragon's head explode in one punch. How strong was he? Lin Feng has become so strong, thought many people. Was the king dragon very strong? He hadn't withstood a single attack. Who should I kill now? Said Lin Feng smiling at Duanmu. Duanmu was aghast. Lin Feng disappeared and reappeared in front of the East Sea Dragon Palace's cultivator who had killed people in Shuiyu in the past. He then grabbed the guy by the neck and lifted him into the air. You should know that if the East Sea Dragon Palace is going to be wiped off the map today, it's because of you, said Lin Feng, staring coldly into his eyes. Lin Feng was releasing small threads of death qi which was draining out his life. Then, Lin Feng threw that cultivator high up in the air, rose up and released sword qi. He shouted furiously, "Die, die." Sword qi whistled, and that person's body was suddenly dangling from the end of Lin Feng's sword, dead. Lin Feng turned around and looked down at the crowd from the East Sea Dragon Palace. His sword qi whistled even louder. "Die," shouted Lin Feng furiously. Then, a light shot towards them and horrible shrieks wailed. They all died. After slaughtering them, he looked at Jade Heaven's people. They looked back at Lin Feng, watching him descend from the sky and land in front of them. Jade Heaven's people were shaking, they were terrified to death. "How do you want to die?" asked Lin Feng to the one who had participated in the massacre of Shuiyu. Lin Feng sounded indifferent at that moment. That person was horrified as he said, "If I die, will you forgive Jade Heaven?" "You're going to die anyways, do you think you can impose conditions?" said Lin Feng, smiling in a cold way. They had almost killed his family members, the girl he loved the most, his friends. He couldn't forgive them. Forgive them? That was the biggest joke in the world. That person's face turned deathly pale, he looked hopeless. How tragic, Jade Heaven was going to be annihilated because he had killed some people in a tiny country so long ago. Nobody could have imagined such an outcome. "Patriarch of the Xiaoyao sect, why are you not attacking yet?" said Duanmu to the patriarch of the Xiaoyao sect. The old man next to the patriarch of the Xiaoyao sect wasn't sure, he was still trying to grasp Lin Feng's strength. "Everybody, if we don't join hands to kill him, we'll all die," said Duanmu to Mie Qing to the others hysterically. "There's no need to shout. You're all going to die anyways, even if you join hands," said Lin Feng. Then he took a deep breath and released death abstruse energy which surrounded all the members of Jade Heaven. "Die," shouted Lin Feng furiously. Many people who were weaker died instantly. It was even more astonishing than when Lin Feng had killed people from the East Sea Dragon Palace. Everybody died but Duanmu. Lin Feng looked at Duanmu which, making him shudder in fear even more violently. "You're a demon." "Don't do it," shouted Duanmu releasing qi. He wanted to kill Lin Feng but Lin Feng looked calm and serene as he said, "Die." Lin Feng's silhouette flickered. "Bei Ming and Lei Mang, you killed Shengong, all of this is on your hands," thought Mie Qing when he knew he was going to die. Why had they let Bei Ming organize the great competition of Shuiyu back then? Chapter 1450, "Done, that's the third group," thought the crowd when they saw Mie Qing's corpse on the ground. They almost felt paralyzed. Lin Feng, alone, had destroyed 3 terrifying groups from Ganyu, the East Sea Dragon Palace, Jade Heaven and Shengong. He had punched the king dragon to death and had killed Duanmu and Mie Qing with death qi. He had killed them easily, alone. Who would have thought that? Lin Feng looked at the people from the Xiaoyao sect, glancing at the old man, the tree cultivators who were at the top of the Zun Qi layer, and the 2 cultivators of the 7th and 8th Zun Qi layer. Do you want to see my cultivation level? Said Lin Feng to the old men. He laughed and said, I'll show you. 6th Zun Qi layer. The strong cultivators saw Lin Feng's cultivation level. 6th Zun Qi layer. He was as strong as the patriarch of the Xiaoyao sect, but he had easily killed the king dragon and the others. It meant that Lin Feng was able to kill cultivators at the top of the Zun Qi layer. You're so confident, but do you know who we are? Said the patriarch of the Xiaoyao sect, smiling coldly. He was referring to the godly Xiaoyao sect. Lin Feng didn't say anything. He looked at the patriarch of the Xiaoyao sect while thinking he was pathetic and miserable. Those people are from the godly Xiaoyao sect, from Ba Huang. They're incredible cultivators. The strongest one has broken through to the 8th Zun Qi layer even, said the patriarch of the Xiaoyao sect, pointing at those people. The godly Xiaoyao sect owns the Xiaoyao sect. No wonder they're not afraid. I wonder if Lin Feng can do anything. He'll probably escape, thought the crowd. The patriarch of the Xiaoyao sect was smiling in a resplendent way. He was sure that Lin Feng couldn't do anything to them. Lin Feng looked at the patriarch of the Xiaoyao sect as if he had been looking at a buffoon. Those, said Lin Feng mockingly. The patriarch of the Xiaoyao sect was stupefied. The old man on his side said, You should leave. You should know when to stop, and if you leave, we won't challenge you further, said the old man indifferently. He didn't sound that confident though. If he had been sure he could kill Lin Feng, he would have attacked already. I don't want to leave. Challenge me, please, said Lin Feng mockingly. Those people were ridiculous. The old man looked annoyed after he heard Lin Feng. You're strong, but you can't compete with an influential imperial group. You're ridiculous. I've killed a few emperors' sons already, but you're probably too old to understand what I am saying, said Lin Feng while releasing death qi. The old man shivered. Killed emperors' sons? And several of them? Boom. Lin Feng took a step and instantly those people were surrounded by death qi. It was a cage of death qi. Since you participated, you'll die too, said Lin Feng at the cultivator of the 8th Zun Qi layer, making him turn gray from the death energies. Your Excellency, you're also from Ba Huang. Please forgive the godly Xiaoyao sect, said the old man terrified. You're nothing, said Lin Feng. Die. Then, those people's eyes became gray as their lives were being drained out. The patriarch of the Xiaoyao sect looked stupefied when he sensed how quickly his life was being drained out. Even cultivators at the top of the Zun Qi layer couldn't stop Lin Feng. Kill him, shouted the cultivator of the 8th Zun Qi layer, rising up in the air and lunging towards Lin Feng. Slash, a dazzling sword streaked across the sky. Then the ground quaked as the cultivator of the 8th Zun Qi layer was cut in two and died instantly. The cultivator of the 8th Zun Qi layer hadn't withstood a single attack. The two other cultivators of the 7th Zun Qi layer turned deathly pale. They already looked gray and were hopeless. Their friend had been killed in one attack. Die, all of you, said Lin Feng while releasing death and cursing strength. The patriarch of the Xiaoyao sect was staring at Lin Feng. People's lives were being drained out and it was too late to. The patriarch of the Xiaoyao sect was dying too. Just like the others, he collapsed. The last ones to die were the cultivators at the top of the Zun Qi layer. Lin Feng had killed all of them in one strike. When Lin Feng turned around and looked at the members of the Necropolis sect and the Nine Cloud Swords sect, he was glad to see that they looked terrified. Their patriarchs had thought it'd be smarter to follow the masses, but now they had to suffer the consequences. In such a short time, thought the two patriarchs. They couldn't believe it. A cultivator of the Tian Qi layer had become so strong in such a short time. Lin Feng rose up in the air, looking down at them all. Will you let us off? Asked the patriarch of the Necropolis sect. He had broken through to the 6th Zun Qi layer, so he was considered an amazing cultivator in Ganyu. You wanted to kill me a moment ago. What about now? Said Lin Feng in a calm and serene way. The cultivation world was cruel. The two patriarchs looked desperate. They had made their choice and now they were going to regret it. Kill yourselves, said Lin Feng indifferently. Those two people were insects before him, so he didn't really care about them. The patriarch of the Necropolis sect smiled tragically and released demon chi. He raised both his hands and said, I was a bad patriarch, Lin Feng, I beg you, raising my disciples wasn't easy, please be merciful, said the patriarch. The ground shook and then his body exploded. After the patriarch of the Nine Cloud Sword sect watched the patriarch of the Necropolis sect smile and commit suicide, he felt like crying. He rose up in the air, released sword chi and killed himself as well. Lin Feng had annihilated so many groups. Lin Feng looked at the two patriarchs, how sad. However, they had brought about their own destruction, so they could only blame themselves. That was the world of cultivation. Lin Feng glanced at the disciples from the Necropolis sect and the Nine Cloud Sword sect. However, Lin Feng slowly turned around and looked at the people from Tianqi. You can decide how you want to deal with Ganyu's affairs. If people from the godly Xiaoyao sect come to avenge their people, tell them that they must go to Tiantai to deal with Lin Feng first. They will understand. Lin Feng then waved and then said, Uncles, brothers, I'm off. See you soon. Then, a gigantic sword appeared, and Lin Feng jumped on it. The crowd heard a sonic boom and then Lin Feng disappeared. You're tuning in to the Blissful Bookshelf YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.